Looking greasy today, boy. It's hot ass weather. Anyway, yeah, why is Trump still in office? You know, my wife likes to binge watch whatever it may be. So if it's Game of Thrones, she watches it all the way through. If it's whatever it may be, she's very, very binge-watchy type person. And so she did it before, 10 years ago or some shit. I bought her the West Wing DVD set, maybe even longer than that. She was real into West Wing at one point, and so you know me, I spoil her, you know. When you have somebody that's hard to buy for, and some opportunity like that shows up, that's what you do, because we still watch DVDs. We're old like that. So she's been watching West Wing, and she always thought I would get into it. She especially thought I would get into it this time around, just with this, as politically driven as I am. But it's funny because I'm not. I mean, it's strange because I'm definitely interested in the conversation about politics. And, to me, it's all just a big fucking ruse and a big game and shit. So being into it would be like being into the WWE. Like I know all the characters and their backstories and all that shit. I'm not really, and I don't like follow politics. And this bill was passed, and that legislation took place, and all these things. I don't do that part. And I guess I mean it's weird. Like I just sort of dawned on me. I hadn't thought about it, but my wife's saying that she thought I'd be into it, and there's the perception that I'm political. I'm not. I don't know. It's weird. I don't consider myself a political person. I'm not somebody who follows politics. I can't stand all those kinds of shows. The talking heads, pundits. I'm here with this person and that person. I sound the exact same as the other guy, and I'm gonna ask no real questions. Like, it's all stupid to me. Hardline, hardcore, core line. With Jesse Steinberg, with David Bergstein. That's not very interesting to me. But I got caught up in the Bartlett gets shot episode, season finale, then the next season kicks on, and the show is written well. It's weird. It's like that's such an idealized version of the way the White House works and politics, and his wife, Bartlett's wife, is a doctor, and she was like a head doctor, and she knows things. She's ever present. She's liked, and then like you see this person that Bartlett portrays, who is like this ultra knowledgeable. I mean, he has sort of a Trump-esque haircut, I can give it that. But the comparisons to Trump end at the haircut. Like, Bartlett is the guy you would want to be president. He is he's so played off as being so super intelligent, along with the people around him. Like, it would be really interesting to see West Wing redone with today's presidency in as the representation. or as the I don't know, as the thing being represented, I guess. But watching the few episodes that I have watched, it definitely seems like if something like this were to happen, like there wouldn't be the president would be, the person in office would be removed. I literally can't think of a worse scandal for a president to be associated with and not be cleared of, and it's not even like a sort of passing frivolous bullshit. It's very, very obvious. At the very, very least, very, 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 at the very least, he is guilty of covering for a pedo, a cover-up, inappropriate actions, comments, things like that. Like, at the very least, the one that sticks out to me the most is the when asked if he had age limits, he said no, and then he said, well, I wouldn't want to get caught with a 12-year-old. You know, Colbert, I think, said it best. That's like asking, do you sleep with animals? And he says, well, certainly not a horse. You know, that's the worst thing you could say. Do you have an age limit? No. Well, I mean, I don't want to get caught with a 12-year-old. Like, it's fucking crazy. It is. Even if, like, that he's too stupid to realize what he said and to know to say something better, or like, if anybody is that stupid, they should not be the president of the United States. It's just mind-blowing. But that's the least of it. Like, that's his stupidity is the least important thing in all of this. Have you ever seen him, like, he's given a situation where he's got to, like, knock out some math or something in his head real quick, and he knocks out some complex equations or anything like that? There are a million reasons why he shouldn't be. Exactly. I need a haircut. So John, this John character, prefers his guys with short hair. How else do you like your dudes to look, John? Do you like them to have a facial hair, or do you like a clean face? I bet you like them to be more white and blonde-haired and blue-eyed, right? Why does he care about another man's hair? Because he can't argue what I'm saying. And when he can't argue against what I'm saying, he unintentionally outs himself. And that's what you see, like, that's sort of along the lines of Trump saying not a 12-year-old, right? He's outing himself. He might think that he's saying one thing or another, but he's actually outing himself. And that's the same thing as what this dumbass just did. Okay? Worried about my hair. Well, I don't think, for you being the conservative Trump supporter that I guess you are, because you're coming to his defense, I assume is what you're doing. I wouldn't expect you to be so, concerned with another dude's hair. I mean, it's to me, it's always interesting, because you're gonna have, like, at this point, and I've always said it, like, if you're a Trump supporter, a MAGA you yell, you type stupid shit, MAGA, Trump 2028, blah 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 blah, whatever. If you acknowledge that you're a Trump supporter, this whole time you've basically been saying how you're homophobic, sexist and racist, right? It's been that hat represents that, the red hat, all of it. It's a pretty obvious thing, and it's pretty like, I mean, it's right there. You can, I guess, try to deny it, but let's be real. It's not like all this policy is really good, and you like Trump because of all his policy. You like Trump because he's racist, sexist, and homophobic, like you are. But now it's gone to a completely different level. Now that same shit also represents pedophilia. And I honestly, I don't know how anybody could... well, I do. I know one way that people still support Trump. And that's if they're a pedophile. And I think there's some psychological shit going on right there, right? Like, I think we really have to acknowledge that. I don't think people realize just how bad the pedophile problem is. So I think that because you're ignorant to it, it influences the way that you look at things regarding it. And it's something as simple as like my feed, right? My feed is one where I've been saying for years, we need to kill pedophiles. We need to stop the genocide. We need to remove the chosen leadership, who also happen to be pretty much pedophiles. That cult is a pedophilia cult. But like, if you're here, if you have some sort of issue with me, and I'm the guy that thinks we should kill pedos, how does that work? Like, you would think if somebody does take issue with something I say, but then they find out that I'm on the we should kill pedos bandwagon, that they would be like, oh, okay, you know what? I'll go fuck with somebody else. Somebody who's not, saying the number one correct thing, we should kill pedos. And yet, for some reason, there's this group of people, of profiles, that continues to attack and try to interfere and distract and all that, trying to change the subject from killing pedos and outing pedos and shit to all kinds of shit. And I just like with everything else, it has to make sense to me. I have to understand what I'm looking at. And the only way I can understand it, the only way I can make sense as to why somebody would have a beef with me would be they're pedophiles. And I've been saying this for years. And it's been a lot harder to prove necessarily. I mean, I don't even know. Like, again, it seems pretty basic. If you attack the guy who thinks we should kill pedos, what is your motivation? And I ask the people all the time, again, here we have Grant, the pedophile. Grant's an absolute pedophile. We have Grant come on here and talk shit and all that, and you go, so Grant, what's your motivation for being here day after day after day for hours at a time? You watch me. I'm the loser. You hate me so much, and yet you watch me day after day. You spend so much of your life on me, trying to talk shit, trying to distract, trying to fuck with my feed that's about we should kill pedos. So what is it? What motivates you, Grant? What makes you decide to do what you're gonna do? I can tell you what motivates me. I want to see pedophiles die. Like, not actually watch them die, but I want to see that those laws get changed, and we make it so if you get caught in any real rape situation, that you're just killed. Pretty simple. And yet you have these you have these characters, these profiles on here that don't even acknowledge what's being said. They just keep trying to talk shit in this really weird sort of dumb J, juvenile kind of way. Inbred J's, not very smart kind of way. And you flat out ask them, like, they'll respond to multiple things that I say. If I start talking about, I don't know, submarines, they'll have something to say. They won't talk about my arguments, but they'll talk about it. But as soon as it's like, okay, you're vocal, you want to be heard, you want to keep talking, why are you here? There's literally nothing else in the world you'd rather watch or participate in. There's nothing else in your life that you could be doing. You don't have a significant other. You don't have, like, chores you could be doing. You don't have a job. There's nothing else more entertaining. You want to talk shit to the guy who thinks we should kill pedos? That's your thing? Like, that's just interesting to me. I'd love to know how that works. I'd love to know the psychology behind that. It's not even me talking shit at this point. I'm seriously, I'm curious. Like, what motivates somebody? Motivation is a fascinating thing to me. You know, I think logistics destroys most arguments. And if you start looking at the logistics behind what is said to be happening, you'll find that it really doesn't make much sense, like submarines. But it's the same with these clown profiles. Like, you know, you don't think it would be that much. You'd think, especially the people that love talking shit, you'd think they would come in here if they were given the opportunity. They would come in here knowing that I'm going to read their shit and say what it is that motivates them. What has you wasting so much of your life on me? And that's the one thing they won't answer. And to me, that just leaves, you know, the answer still has to happen. There still has to be an answer, right? So it has to make sense. So what's going to make sense? Do you think people who aren't pedophiles are going to come on here and talk shit? Do you think people who aren't pedophiles are going to support Trump at this point? Like, you have to, you know, they're not going to come out and say it. They're not going to come out and acknowledge it. Nobody's going to read the official government document that says anybody that supports Trump has obviously got some pedo stuff going on. How do you overlook Trump's pedo affiliation? And you know, like, no normal person overlooks pedophilia. If I have a best friend for 30 fucking 40 years, whatever, my kid, I've said this, my kid, I find out my kid has child exploitation materials on his phone, I'm gonna call the police on him. I'm gonna turn his phone in and try to get everybody I can busted. And it's you know, that seems, that maybe I'm extreme, I don't know. Maybe you're not like that. I really don't know. To me, that seems like no-brainer shit. I find out you're doing something that fucking horrible, I'm going to do everything I can to ruin your life. I just, who doesn't think that way? Again, you're people that I'd love to talk to. If you're somebody that can say, you know, they find out somebody close to them is a pedo and they're going to just oh, well, it's no big deal. Like, I'd love to talk to you. Tell me, you know, explain it to me. Help me understand your perspective. Maybe I won't hate you as much if I have some sort of understanding as to who you are. Why you operate the way you do. Right? And this Grant Rosenthal is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at all the dumbass comments he said, and not one has been about what I'm talking about. This dude is a flat-out pedophile, and I even said it, and he doesn't deny it. It's not like he says, hey, fuck you, buddy. Why the fuck would you say that? Fuck you, I think we should kill pedos, blah, blah. He doesn't say anything like that. He just keeps going like it's like that's just like we're on the playground trading insults or some shit. So not only does he not seem to mind being called a pedo, he doesn't have any sort of ability to explain anything. Pedophilia makes most people mad. You'd think so. It makes non-pedos mad. See, that's what I'm saying. This is where you have to really start understanding, right? This Randy dumbass that comes here every day. I got 46 people here. And he says shit like, nobody listens, nobody cares. Dude, you care. You're here every day. But then he's, again, what motivates this prick to, set alarms? This guy is setting alarms to come here every day. So he can talk shit to the guy who says we should kill pedos. Like, just, again, put this all together. Understand that your arrogant understanding is not the level that things are on. Just because you don't think pedophiles are as prominent as they are, for whatever reason, like, I don't even know why you would think that way. What would make you think the way you do? If I ask you what percentage of the population do you think is pedophilic, what's gonna even, foster your answer? What would be the reason why you would come up with the percentage you would come up with? And I'm comfortable saying I think at least 50% of the people have, at the very least, have child exploitation materials on their phone, on their computer, whatever. I don't think everybody has the compulsion to do something in person. I think that's a whole different level. But to trade in horrible pictures, I mean, that's like the biggest business, online business that's out there. Is the trade in I don't want to say pornography, because pornography is a contract, is an agreement between two consenting adults. That's pornography. Like, there's nothing wrong with pornography to me. I think it's gross. I think it's weird. I'm having a harder and harder time watching it as I get older. I've been watching amateur porn forever because I just can't stand the extreme nature of the professional stuff. But child stuff is not pornography. Child stuff is child exploitation materials. And I think a much larger portion of the population than people realize has that shit on their phone or looks at it. And maybe they don't even have it on their phone, but they go to certain websites and they look at the shit. Who knows? But I think it's a lot bigger than people think. And examples or the reasoning, the justification for me saying that is that just go look. Just watch any, like, pedophile hunter that's out there. Any Gordon Flowers, any Pop Squad, anything like that. And especially if they're nice enough to do the behind the scenes shit. Right? If they're nice enough to let you into the window. Like actually TK, the original episodes used to sort of show you, they do the fake voices over the things and shit like that. But for every fake profile that's made, that shit is hit up, hundreds of times. For every one person that gets caught, there are thousands that are involved that don't get caught. And so when you understand that you look at just how many pedophile hunters you personally know of online. How many can you think of where it's somebody that does the pedophile hunting, right? And those guys are catching people every day, every couple days. Sometimes they're catching multiple people per day. But I can't stress this enough. Those are only the people that have the compulsion to get caught, to actually physically go do something. Most of them don't have that physical need. They don't have that compulsion. They can override it at the very least. And anybody, I don't care who you are, if you say, You know, oh, I'm just reaching out so I can have some conversation with them. I did it. I just wanted to talk. Hey, what's up? Like, there's no reason why a 25 plus, 20 plus year old man would have any sort of conversation with a 12, 13 year old, anything. Like, let's just be realistic here. Let's just go common sense. There's no fucking reason for you to like kids. Kids are annoying. Kids are stupid. Why would anyone be like, oh, I just like going in chat rooms and talking to kids, and as soon as I see their profile, it says Billy 13, Billy 2013. I reach out like, hey, what's up? You just want to talk? Hey, let's talk. Like, who in their right fucking mind is anywhere near that? So there's no excuse for it. But when you see these hunters from behind the scenes, Justin Payne is really good about this shit. Where they show you that as soon as they make the profile, as soon as the profile goes live, immediately there are a bunch of weirdo dudes hitting them up. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Hey. Yeah. Here we go. We got Grant talking a bunch of shit. Can't answer simple questions, but he's going to talk shit. Think about this. Who is this person? They have the Rosenthal in that last name, so that really gives it away. I'm telling you, it's so commonplace for them to be pedos. It's way worse than you think. But again, why would Grant be so mad at what I'm doing right now? This requires just basic shit, right? This requires basic 2 plus 2 math. If I'm saying this about this, pedophiles, kill them, this, that, and the other, you know, it's a bigger problem than you think, blah, 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 blah. And this guy's coming in here going, shut up. Shut up. Why are you talking about this? What does that tell you? I mean, if it was literally any other situation, you'd be quick to say, oh, well, you know, if I was sitting here talking about how great, I don't fucking know. I don't know the example because it's just so gross. It's just so far out there. But if I was sitting here talking, you know, if I'm sitting here talking bad about Trump and somebody's going, shut up, stop saying those things. You're not going to go, oh, well, that person must hate Trump. You're going to think that person likes Trump. And it's the same thing on here. As much as I talk about killing pedos and all that stuff, you have these Rosenthal, who come on here and tell me I should stop. Try to interfere. Don't offer support. Don't offer help. Don't try to share the shit. Nothing good. All negative. For what reason? Like, okay, if you're dumb enough to be like, I get stuck on titles. I see the title of your show, even though it's obviously the title of the show and then part this, that, and the other, and I'm going to focus on that. Never mind what you's talking about. You have a title that because so many people, so many people are really, really into submarines. I never fucking knew it. I never would have guessed it. I never would have, like, you could have, if you would have told me, here, I'm going to give you 100 things, and you here's some money, you put a bunch of money on which thing you think people are going to give a shit about. And pedophilia is one, and stopping pedophilia is one, and the genocide of ticks are one, and just all these different topics that are on this list. There's no fucking way I'm going to be like, put all your money on submarines. everybody's going to be really into the submarine conversation over anything else. I just never would have thought about it. If I was even talking about submarines, if I really did have a submarine-centered feed, but for some reason today, we got off on this tangent about, you know, Trump and pedophiles and all that shit. For you to be like, oh, well, I just don't want to go back to talking about submarines. I'm really in the submarine conversation. That's just weird to me. That's just weird. I didn't realize I was such a voice in the submarine community that people... What, fat boy? What? You're fat. It's just interesting to me. Yep, I duck. Good old Grant, who literally has nothing. Ask him simple questions, and he just cannot answer them. Yet he's obsessed with me. Like, it's either you're obsessed with me, or you're defending your pedophile side of things. This whole feed is about trying to understand things. We're always reading different things and looking into different things to get some sort of explanation and you know, get some understanding about the way the world works. And I just asked, you know, simple questions. I really want to know how people think. The you know, the psychiatry, the psychology behind how people think is something that's fascinating to me. And knowing myself, like I know, you know, if you were to ask me why I hate Israel, why I hate the J cults, why I hate pedos, what, you know, any of these things, I would have a very long-winded answer for you. What's up, Dookie? Mm-hmm. How'd you sleep, buddy? You look like you're still sleeping. You know, I would, there wouldn't be like any ambiguity as to what my position is or how I feel. You know, I'm proud of everything I think. I'm proud of everything I feel. I'm proud of all the controversial things I say. And so, you know, to be dealing with something that's not on that same level, that is like scared and embarrassed of who they are. Like it's strange. Oh, Matt, don't get drug into the shit with that fucking clown. It's a J clown. Seriously. It's some dumb J. Whether it's a bot profile or it's the act.il, whether it's Team Jorge or it's act.il, it's a bot. It's a dumb piece of shit J who fucking likes children, man. Like, don't get wrapped up in that shit. Grant's not going to have a single fact for you because he's here to defend pedophilia, but he knows he can't. You know, it's a really weird, like, time where, you know, you can argue from either side of the chemtrail argument. You can argue from either side of the earth shape argument. No, you'll definitely get like attacked and bullied and stuff if you say you don't believe the earth is round or you say you don't believe we went to the moon. But nothing crazy. I mean, for the most part, it does seem to make people really mad, but nothing crazy. Now, if you say you don't believe in their silly sky daddy, in certain places they will absolutely attack you. But at the very least, you could say, I believe in this sky daddy over that sky daddy. And there can be a conversation to be had at the very, very least. Might not be the best conversation, but there's a conversation there. If you say you support pedos, or you support any sort of type of relationship or anything along those lines, you literally have no open support. Obviously, there's a shit ton of people behind the scenes. But out in the open, this isn't one of those arguments that you're allowed to make. So instead, what you do is you come to that person who's making that argument and you attack them. Or you try to change the subject to something that you can make an argument for. you know? But you have to ask yourself, why would so many non-pedophile people be so obsessed with me? The facts are that you wand host want to ignore. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, we have somebody who spent 6 years in a submarine. Sure you did. Sure you did. 6 years in a submarine, and here it is Monday morning at 9:30, 9 o'clock. And you're looking for YouTube pages for you to go defend submarine's character, and submarines, you know, exist. Submarine gets really upset when people like me say they don't exist. Like, it's just fascinating. Again, if prior to all this, if you would have told me, like, okay, you're gonna go out and you're gonna poll people, and you're gonna ask people, like, what's more concerning to you? The pedophile situation or submarines? Not even whether or not they exist or not, just submarines in general. I would have never thought in a million years so many people would pick submarines over pedophilia. But my experience has definitely led me to think that there are way more people out there than you would realize that would do anything, would talk about anything else but that, because they're guilty. And they know they can't have a normal conversation. They know they might be able to say like one or two, like, yeah, that's really gross. I can't believe people do that. But as soon as you start getting into the nuts and bolts, I call it the bag of sand theory, bag of sand something, equation, whatever you want to call it. But it's based off of the 40-year-old virgin, right? And the 40-year-old virgin, he's able to pull off that he's a normal guy who's had sex with your girl. Like, nobody questions his virginity until all the guys are sitting around having the conversation, and the conch shell goes to him, and it's his turn to talk about titties, what a titty feels like, and he's like, oh, a bag of sand? Because he has no idea. Because he's never actually felt a titty. He's seen a bunch. He assumes by looking at them that, hey, maybe it feels like a bag of sand, but he doesn't actually know. And it's just that one little comment that gives him away. And these pedos are the same way, right? They'll be able to hang out, have conversation, you know, contribute, hide their true identity until something comes up where they have to say the right thing or not. You know, somebody makes a fucking, you know, some nasty comment, and they either laugh or, you know, you're walking with them and you see them turn and look at a kid like you would if you saw a hot chick. But on here we can't see him. So on here, what's up, Matt? On here it's all about what they say or don't say. And the fact that they don't come through and be like, fuck yeah, you know, they out themselves. They don't mean to, but they bag of sand themselves. If you let, you know, you pay attention to everything that Grant Rosenthal has to say, it's no doubt he's a pedo. The fact is, I've called him a pedo multiple times and he hasn't denied it. So look, now he's going to respond to Matt. He won't respond to me asking the simple question, but he's going to respond to yet another one of the random commenters. Okay, Matt, does this make sense? Supporting a book that teaches elementary schoolers how to spit on it and push it in is wrong. What are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? Oh yeah, Matt, you bailed yesterday before we could finish the comment, before we could finish the conversation. Because you were such a typical white guy yesterday. I have to admit, I was kind of surprised by it. But I do remember it from previous conversation. You know, your bigotry still comes through. But the idea that you think trans people shouldn't have the same rights as everyone else because a trans person was mean to you, so you then just associate all trans people with that one person is fucking nuts, man. It's nuts. Who are these guys crying about DeSantis banning that fool? You did say that. You were saying that you don't think that they should have the same rights as anybody else does. And your reasoning was because the one was mean to you. Because your roommate was mean to you one time. Well, for a period of time. They shouldn't be around children because this guy was mean to me. That was your whole thing, was that trans people shouldn't be allowed to be around children. Never mentioned rights. Right. You didn't say they shouldn't have the same, because that's an asshole thing to say. And you won't actually say the thing that you mean. You'll just roundabout it. They shouldn't be allowed to be around children. Well, isn't that rights? Aren't those rights? I was speaking of drag shows. No, you were talking about more than just drag shows. It wasn't about drag shows. Oh, I read all of your comments, especially after you left. Lost a good supporter by not acknowledging when you're wrong. How was I wrong? What part was I wrong about? Basically, I gotta agree with the bot here. Yeah, that's doublespeak or straw man. Trans women are men, but don't see why that should not be around kids. Trans women, it's weird how all the anger goes towards the women too. Nobody talks about the women that try to be dudes, because that's just a joke, right? We just think of that as a joke, I guess. You get that broad with the fucking super tight sports bra on underneath the jersey, the short little haircut, who thinks she's tough. Yeah, that chick drives me crazy. But the idea, like to me, it's the bigotry, it's the phobias, it's all of the negative perception that keeps this argument going. No, trans women are not women. They're something different. And why don't we address it as such is strange to me. You know, the day you the week that you bleed out of your vagina and have a period and have hormones and all that other shit that comes with it, then you can call yourself a woman. But I think because we have such a narrow-minded society, we sit here with this, it's either man or woman. No, it's not. There are different things. There are people who are literally born with both parts, literally born with them. You know, there are people who are in the wrong bodies and all that shit. And I don't talk about a distraction. It's like the whole vaccine argument. Vaccines cause autism is what they say. And that's bullshit. Vaccines do not cause autism. Flat out. Be the first one to say it. And I know people will be like, what do you mean? Vaccines don't cause autism. Autism is something people are born with. They're born autistic. It's something that goes wrong inside the womb and blah, 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 blah. That's autism. Just because somebody has similar traits, like you don't see too many autistic savants as a result of vaccine damage. And that's what vaccines cause. Vaccines cause vaccine injury. The problem is when you call it autism, you're saying your kid was born with it. Because that's what the system says. The system says autism is a birth defect. So if you're insisting that the vaccines gave your kids autism, you're basically killing your own argument. All you have to argue is that vaccines caused vaccine injury. And there's multiple millions of dollars set aside every year to compensate for vaccine injury. As long as you say that. But you shoot yourself in the foot when you say it's autism. And the thing that the system does so well is to get us arguing over phrases, over names, over, fringe points as far as avoiding the main point. But let's disregard all parents, right? What are you talking about? Then explain why lots of black children suddenly have autism in the past 10 years and personal stories about how their child stopped talking and went numb. See, again, it's like you've gone dumb on me because you can't admit you're wrong, that you're a bigot about the whole trans thing, that now you're just being stupid. Do you not understand what's being said here? Is that the problem? Do you not understand that there's a difference between autism and vaccine injury? Autism, again, we're talking about something different. I call it SOBA, symptoms of biological attack. You call it autism. But you seem to be missing the point. Sexuality stuff should be kept away from children. Really? So I guess they shouldn't watch TV like at all, right? Like literally at all. Even the kid shows. And what makes you think keeping someone away from something is the solution to things? Are you one of those people that thinks if they give out condoms at school, that makes kids have sex? Kids weren't going to have sex until you said, here's a condom. And now they're like, oh, well, let's have less enjoyable sex than we could without these condoms. Let's do that instead. That's just such a stupid thought. I love the people that are dumb enough to be like the book, right? The book. It's all about the book. You're making a point I didn't make. If you weren't assuming I wouldn't. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you not read what you said? Disregard all the parents that said that their kids, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, see, again, this is. Now, how you know you're wrong is now the bots are going to start agreeing with you. If that doesn't show you that you're wrong, you're not paying attention. Educate yourself. Educate myself on what? You just say, you just say you don't, in your heart of hearts, understand that women are entitled to safety and equality. Who the fuck are you even talking to? It's weird how people can't make arguments, so they start saying goofy shit. This guy is full of hate while wanting to feel virtuous. Not true, but okay. I guess guy is a college professor. See, you're actually saying the same things. Oh, guess you just know everything. Instead of just simply telling me what I'm wrong about, like you never seem to be able to do. You're looking for arguments on here. Well, I'm definitely not looking for people to pat me on the back. You're doing the right thing, buddy. Good job, buddy. Sorry, that's not the case here. I want to be the best me I can be, and the only way that can happen is if I address what I'm wrong about. Most of you are the boxers that surround yourself with yes men and then get knocked the fuck out. I'm the champion that surrounds himself with people who are super, super critical. And if I drop my hand just a little bit when I pull my punch back, I want them to point that out to me so we can iron out all of those little creases and make me the perfect fucking weapon. I've explained it, but you don't read the answers that you can't counter. Yep, that's what it. When did you explain? So this is another one of those things where somebody is saying they have answered it. They're not going to answer it again. The last 3 comments were dumb shit. But explain to me how I hate women and all these other things. I'd love to hear it. My daughter is blood. My daughter by blood is Jade. Does that threaten you? No, it disgusts me. And the reality is that's not a blood thing. It's not a race. You know, her parents or whoever it might be might have been cult members, but that doesn't make her blood a certain type. Belch. You can't convert to a race. So no, her blood is not that of a disgusting J. Her parents are just disgusting J's. Like, how can you be against pedophiles and also allow your kids around sexually charged events like a drag show? Right, because, you know, I'm taking my kids to drag shows all the time. Oh my God. The desperation it takes to say something stupid, it just blows my mind. And like the idea that you don't understand that there's a difference between adult drag shows and kid drag shows. Like it's just fucking stupid. It's not like people in drag are known to play sports or known to do this or known to do that. No, they typically like playing dress up, fashion, makeup, all that kind of goofy shit. So if you have a kid that's into that kind of thing and they want to go to a kid's drag show, just like a kid's fashion show, it'd just be just like another, there are kids' fashion shows all over the place. All over the place. And those are definitely, tons of pedos are there, no doubt about it. But there's, you know, that's still, the kids, that's what the kids want to do. Those kids don't want to be outside playing football. Those kids like being models. But why would you think a drag show is sexually charged? Apparently, I guess all the drag shows you've been to are sexually charged. Is that what you're saying? But the notion that I allow my kids around sexually charged events. You know, my kid was 14 when he got his first cell phone. I can say that my kid was older than 99% of the people out there. Most people let their kids have access to the internet way young. You want to talk about a sexually charged event, that's your internet. The entire internet is that way. But it's just, this is the level of stupid. Again, this is the guy who said the drag guy was mean to them, so he doesn't like trans people because the drag guy was mean to him. He acted like it was his apartment when we were all living there together, in my grandparents' house, and he acted like it was his. There's something here in Detroit called the Dirty Show. And it's this annual event where it's just the celebration of debauchery. People who like to do every kind of kink you can imagine. I actually performed at it a couple of times when I first started way back when. And it was like going to the circus. It was so fucking crazy to see all the different characters that were there. There was, you know, all the gays would be there and lots of trans, but then there were also lots and lots of straight people who were into real kinky shit. Putting hooks in your back and swinging from the ceiling and shit. Like, weird shit. Would I ever take my kids to the Dirty Show? No. No, I wouldn't. Why? Because I understand that adults and children are different.
So I'm not going to take my children around a bunch of adults who are trying to be adults in an adult atmosphere. And this whole thing about, like, how can you be against pedophiles and allow your kids to go to a sexually charged event, like, and then I didn't prove that wrong. What's there to prove wrong? How about kids don't go to drag shows? Right, because that's your opinion, right? So the idea that kids want to go to a runway, it's a runway scenario. Like, I don't even know what you think a drag show is, but it's like a runway. And they walk down the runway and strut their stuff, and then they turn around and walk back. And it's in this case, it will be little boys dressed up like girls, because that makes them feel good. To sit here and act like people are just choosing to make their lives harder because it's just the fun thing to do. They don't actually like it. It doesn't make them feel complete or anything. They were just like, how can I make my life harder? It's stupid. And all these, everybody that talks about protect the children, like Matt here, protect the children. Protect them from what? What is dressing up in a different outfit or dressing as, how does that, I don't understand. When it comes to anything sexual, for sure. But I've never heard, not one time have I heard Matt or any of these other people talk about how little girl beauty pageants shouldn't exist. They're not out there protecting those children when little girl beauty pageants are everywhere. And there are all sorts of documentaries about what an insane life that is, how crazy those parents are. The John Benet Ramsey story is a great example of it. But these righteous children protectors protect the children. They're never at the much more prominent, or even talk about the much more prominent little girl beauty pageants than the occasional drag show for a kid that I think I've heard of one. And the only reason I heard about it is because another truther would, Kenny Bartholomew went all bigot over it, and I was disappointed in him. But it's not like drag shows for kids are everywhere. And if they are, it's strange because I thought it's supposed to be being pushed on us so much. How come I don't know about it? But I can tell you, little girl beauty pageants are happening every fucking week. There's a movie called, what the fuck is that called? The one with Kirstie Alley and Kirsten Dunst. And they're in Minnesota. Almost Drop Dead Gorgeous. That movie's fucking fantastic. It's hilarious. But they acknowledge in that movie the creep nature of it. There's John Doe, the baker, who's clearly a pedo. And it's funny, pedo jokes. But again, you never see these Matts, the visionaries of the world, at the little girl, talking about the little girl beauty pageants, why those need to stop. He wants to protect the children. I've never heard Matt, not one time, say we need to outlaw Pee-wee football. There's no reason why those kids should be creating CTE. And we need to outlaw football in general. Because it's creating brain damage. Left and right, creating brain damage under this guise that you might play professional football one day, and you won't. You just won't. Where's all the piss and vinegar? Where's all the anger? Where's all the righteous children protecting when it comes to football? Doesn't sound like you're very consistent there, Matt. You sound just like them, Matt. I won't read half the comments. Let's see. Now you're a we. Interesting. I'm trying to see, where are these comments that Matt is saying? That is, kids belong in school. Yes, kids go to school from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. But we are speaking common sense. If people think kids belong at drag shows, you got issues. Yep. Yep. So it's okay when little girls do it and they do the exact same thing. It's just not okay when little boys want to dress up like girls and do it. Then that makes it just, oh, how dare they? And again, you're talking about something that happens when? When was the last little kid drag show that you're talking about? But you're so righteous. You're so righteous. You're all about the little girl beauty pageants, right? Those are cool. Right? Come on, Matt. Don't be a typical troll here. Engage. I'm reading your dumb comments. I'm sorry you're a bigot. It's pretty gross. But again, that one was mean to you that one time. All right? That one was mean to you that one time. So that means they're all bad. I never went to one because they're gross. I'd never put my kids through anything. I literally just said beauty pageants are gross. You didn't read it. Oh, but you didn't say that until after I said it, right? Once I pointed out your hypocrisy, then you were like, oh yeah, beauty pageants are gross. Uh-huh. Funny how that works. Right? You didn't say it before that. See, again, now we're just going with lies. I said that right off the bat. I was like, all beauty pageants for kids are wrong. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. When I first mentioned it, I was still reading the comments. Calling me a liar when I don't. Yeah, you did. You're absolutely lying. And I see, again, like a lady, you're like, you're calling me a liar. No, I didn't call you a liar. I said you're mistaken or you are lying. That doesn't mean you are a liar. Don't say that, Journey J Money. He's going to get mad. How many people have heard him shame my Jewish child for being alive? I shamed your child. Your poor slave, your poor, obviously abused child. Yes, I'm the one that's bad for her. Can't get any dumber and arrogant than that. Guy lies about not being arrogant. Yeah. Even though, like, literally yesterday, you understood that argument. But now I'm arrogant. Oh, Matt, you've done such a good job this whole time maintaining the character. And now, as soon as your button gets pushed, you do the exact same thing that you've supposedly been fighting against this whole time. How is she abused? She's in that cult. That cult is disgusting. If it's a little girl, well, at least he went with little girl. He knew not to say a boy because he knew I would hone in on it. But I highly suggest, when anybody has the chance, look up the article by the website Israel Hayom, Hayom. Bottom of darkness. So, Bottom of Darkness is this really crazy article, right? Okay, it's by the Israeli page, Israel Hayom. And it's multiple women recount organized abuse, including ritual ceremonies conducted by people they knew, even close family members. This is the hardest article to read because it'll just keep fucking up. Like the page just keeps fucking up, tries to kick you off and shit. After months of interviews with victims, their families, treatment professionals, and experts in Israel and abroad, with a disturbing picture emerges with descriptions difficult to read. And it's all about how prominent the ritualistic sexual abuse is in that cult. And even more so how the cult accommodates it. It's not like the cult is doing anything to remove it or actively, we need to get rid of all the people that do shit like this, blah, blah, blah. No, they protect each other. You can't be a part of the cult and still claim to be a good person. It just doesn't go together. You can't be like, I'm one of the good NAMBLA members. Yeah, I believe in NAMBLA, but I do a bunch of charity work. I actually recruit a bunch of people for our group from doing all my charity work at the churches and stuff. I give a lot of money to charity, and I build shelters for homeless people, and I work at soup kitchens, and I donate all my money to all these organizations to help homeless people, and I do all these things. But yeah, I'm a NAMBLA member too. Like, it doesn't matter what you do at that point. You need to be eliminated. Look at Grant Rosenthal, the disgusting Jew, letting all of his fucking fantasies come out here. He keeps bringing up all these weird sexual things because that's how they think, right? It's just, they just have a disgusting nature about them. And this is the person that, again, really hates that I think we should kill pedos. What does that tell you? Nobody believes you have a wife, at least a willing wife who wants to be there. Nobody believes that. Nobody. You're a disgusting, it's probably your cousin or something given to you in some weird ass ceremony and shit. Off my rocker, I need mental help. I think we should kill pedos. I need mental help. Who is going to say that other than pedos? And the insane, the sheer numbers of them that come through here. It's this. It all fits. It's weird how this Trump thing really brought it all together. But it just makes sense when you think about it. Who could possibly still support Trump? He's a fucking pedo. And again, why is he still in office? That was my point to begin with. Why is he still allowed to be in office? He should be completely removed from his position until all of this shit is sorted through. It's not like it's some frivolous little thing, mistake, this, that, some crack whore trying to get some fucking publicity or some shit. This is decades of information, decades of evidence. And it just makes us as a country look terrible. Just terrible. The fact that we're still accommodating it. People in the world are forever going to be able to be like, why didn't the U.S., insist on Trump being ousted as soon as all this shit started coming out? Even if he's innocent, he should be removed from office at this particular point. Until he can prove himself innocent, he needs to be removed. The distraction needs to go away. We need to be focused on more important things, like the genocide taking place right now. That our money is stolen to facilitate. Your American tax dollars. You're an American. I'm an American, right? Land of the free, home of the brave. I fought in the wars and I did all this. If you really are gung-ho America, you should be furious with everything going on Israel-wise. Furious. Right? It's Unreal. It is real, but it's unreal. It's just fucking insane. I'm sure, I'm so sure, because, you know, all of these people that are defending Trump are the same people that talk about Michelle Obama's a man because Joan Rivers said so. Joan Rivers said so. Joan Rivers, who's not known for saying anything controversial or anything like that, Joan Rivers said so. All these white people that are so quick to defend Trump and are innocent until proven guilty, you have no reason other than Joan Rivers said so to call Michelle. Oh, well, there was a picture taken at a certain angle, not a video showing her shit dangling back and forth, but the way her dress folded, it's certain way, it's a penis for sure. You were so quick to assign that guilt when it was Obama. I wonder what the difference is. Like I said, think about how the type of person that just goes, oh, well, you know, innocent until proven guilty. This man has been charged so many fucking times. The Katie Johnson thing, like, the narrative is that it was so credible that Trump had to go get an examination done, an official examination. In March of 2020 or May, maybe I got my date wrong, but where he was to be examined regarding all of this and fluids and you know, all kinds of, they were going to examine his body and take his fluids and you know, because they had stuff to test it against apparently. And Katie Johnson didn't, you know, that didn't go away because she was proven to be lying. That went away because she got so scared. She was getting so many death threats. Her and her family were getting so many death threats that they just didn't go through with it. Especially when you look at the Virginia Giuffre situation now. You know, I could tell you how many times I've been accused of doing something wrong like that, especially against children. Zero. And I assume all of the people that are on my side of this can say the same thing. I'd be willing to bet all of the money that your average Trump supporter cannot say the same thing. There's something in their past where, you know, they didn't take no for an answer. They groped someone inappropriately. They made some sort of weird remarks to children. You know, shit like that. But none of you have the track record Trump does. Because if you did, you'd be in prison. And that's saying a lot considering how lax all of the laws are and shit regarding that. You know. But with as many times as Trump has been caught, you know, and literally had to pay people off. Like, you don't pay people off when you're innocent. It's just not how it works. Especially if it's high profile and you've already been accused, like Andrew, right? By the time Prince Andrew's story, the payoff happened, like, everybody knew about it. So it's not like he nipped it in the bud before it could get going. Everybody knew about it. See, again, look at the people focused on Diddy, right? Focused on the black guy. That's how the situation's supposed to work. You're supposed to focus on the black guy. If you focus on the black guy, then you're not focused on the J empire that created that black guy, right? Diddy was just a fucking, just a guy, just a wannabe intern, He didn't come from some bloodline family that put him in and this, that, and the other. No, Diddy was willing to do what it took to get to the position he was in. And they clearly created the patsy. So when they knew we would eventually catch on, when we caught on, they were like, here, there's the grenade, go get it. And everybody went for it. And you had guys like Cat Williams. You have guys like Cat Williams, like Kanye, black guys telling people to focus on the black people. And Kanye never said anything. Kanye said he was going to say stuff. But then when given the mic, he talked about, he said that, first of all, he made a threat. He's going to go DEFCON 3. It's definitely a con. The third one. There was the George Bush hates black people. Remember, Kanye West was on TV during an extremely tumultuous time when what some would call a man-made hurricane made black people refugees in their own country. Kanye was on live TV on one of the most prominent sort of, aid things that they love to do where they make a bunch of money from it. And he says, George Bush does not care about black people. And Mike Myers was like, oh. And they quickly cut off and went to something else. I think they went to Carson Daly. And that didn't get him canceled. Calling the sitting president of the United States a racist in one of the most high-profile settings possible. And calling him out for being a racist, really. Because it was really obvious what was going on, right? And that did not get him canceled. That wasn't the thing that fucked his whole world up. What made him lose $2 billion in one day was saying, I'm going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jays, which literally means nothing. What the fuck does DEFCON 3 mean? But he made a threat. So he's the example for us, right? As they're putting the Netanyahu coalition in with Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich and Avi Moaz and this openly supremacist coalition who were running, on the pledge that they were going to take the West Bank. Like, this isn't even, it just so happens to work out that they ran saying that they were going to take back the West Bank, and less than a year later, this obvious false flag happens, and they start the genocide to literally take over the West Bank. Like, it's just, if I was in court, if I was presenting this as a court case, I would absolutely win. There's just no way that anybody can make an argument against my narrative, my presentation when it comes to this whole thing. You just can't. Because all of my narrative is based on what they want us to know. But at the same time that they put in this supremacist coalition, and they put Netanyahu in a way that he can't be removed again. The only way Netanyahu is not the prime minister of Israel from here on out is if he steps down or he dies. Please let him die. Please let him die. But at the time they were putting this openly supremacist coalition in power, pushing the first domino to get the fucking genocide going less than a year later. Kanye, for some strange reason, the news is telling everyone to pay attention to Kanye West. Because, the vast majority of you don't follow Kanye West. Kanye says all kinds of crazy shit that never gets talked about. Kanye has been saying so many things about the Jews and Israel and stuff like that in the last year that you would think he would be the front page news, right? That's what got him in trouble in the first place, was saying stuff he's not supposed to say. And we know that because Dave Chappelle told us. The Saturday after Kanye says the stuff, Dave Chappelle is on Saturday Night Live explaining it all to you, just in case you missed it all, just in case you missed the Kyrie connection, just in case you missed that Trump is going to win the election. He flat out told you guys. But he said, there are two words that you never say and good things come after it. Been in Hollywood for 30 years, and there are two words that you just don't say and good things come after it, and that is the and Jews. This is what he says. He says, I'm not saying that there's a conspiracy, but I could see how somebody could put together, could be in that situation and see how everything works and put together that maybe there is something strange going on, but I wouldn't say it out loud. At one point he says, I do have to be serious for a minute, and I want to say that with everything that has happened, the one thing that the Jewish people can't do is blame black people for what happened to them. And the crowd goes completely silent. Completely silent. And then he kind of makes a little joke and everybody starts laughing again. But when he said, you can't blame black people for what happened to you, that wasn't okay. And so Kanye comes out and Kanye says, he makes a threat, I'm going to go DEFCON 3. He says, I can say anything I want because, they don't own the word Semitism or Semitic. Black people are Semitic. White people are Semitic. All of the people of that region, that Middle East, North Africa region, those are considered Semitic people. So he says, I can't be anti-Semitic because I am Semitic. That's number two. And the third thing he says is that everyone in Hollywood, everyone in the entertainment industry has Jays in their contracts, and Jays make money off of them. Everyone. So he let you in on the secret, the open secret. He acknowledged the open secret. And actually, that's a really good movie. That's about an open secret. Good movie about how insanely pedophilic Hollywood is. But I digress. And that was the thing that blew the world up, right? That's the thing, those are the three things that he said that the J media machine told us was more important than any other news going on at the time. We all had to pay attention to what Kanye said and subsequently what happened to him for saying it. Nobody gives a shit about Kanye prior to that. Nobody gives a shit about Kanye after that. Suddenly Kanye says something, the news, who controls the news again? Wish I could remember. The news tells everybody that they should care about this. This is the worst thing he ever did. The guy that called the sitting president a racist, this is worse. All the meanwhile, they're putting Netanyahu's coalition in. Same time, we're just focused over here instead of over here. And then as soon as the coalition got in place and the system started running, Kanye got one more interview where he's going to name a bunch of names, right? He talks about Michael Jordan, LeBron, Beyonce, Jay-Z. He basically gives a whole list of black people that everybody already knew was in the Illuminati. He doesn't name a single J in his whole presentation. And then everybody just forgets about him. And recently he put out the Hail Hitler song, which is, it's a cool song, but it's not, like, he doesn't even say very much. Like, he says a couple of, if you're clever, you can figure it out kind of things. But for the most part, it's just stupid. And that's a big no-no, but if you look up Kanye West and you look up all the videos of him talking about the Jays and what they, like, there's tons of it. How come none of that's made it to the, how come none of you know about it? At the same time, because Kanye was a warning to people like me, right? Somebody who will go out and say these things without worrying about the stupid J clowns that the Rosenthals that come through here. Again, ask good old Grant, why is he here? What is his motivation? And see if he answers you. He won't answer me. Simple question. And again, sure it does seem mad that I'm talking about this, right? Sure does seem mad. He's denying that there's a connection because there's never any connections. All right. I prepared for it. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, go ahead. He won't say it. He won't answer you. But Kyrie Irving is the example to you guys. Because I always ask you guys, share the fucking feed, man. Take 2 seconds, click the share button, share it on Facebook. If you're scared of of the response, people will get mad at me if I share your stuff. Then share it with this guy's crazy. Come tell him how he's crazy. Whatever you got to do, like, share, sub, help out. But Kyrie Irving is the example to you guys. Kyrie Irving, one of the best ball players in the league at the time, literally made them a bunch of money, right? He's a franchise player at the time. He posts a link. He doesn't even say, hey, everybody, check this out. This shit's crazy. None of that. He just posts the link. And it's a link to, only reason I know about it is because of Kyrie Irving, and I looked up what did Kyrie Irving post. Otherwise, I would have never known about this video. See? The best promotion mechanism you can get is if the news gets mad at you. If you can make the news mad at you, then everybody's going to want to see what it is. And it turns out the movie Kyrie shared is called From Hebrew to Negro. And it's about how the blacks are the original Jews and, their identity was stolen by these European, blah, blah, blah. It's all just a bunch of bullshit. It's all a bunch of bullshit that you might think it's like it's some sort of exposure, but it's not. It's just like validating that the Bible is real. The Bible is real. And all of that stuff. And it's so important to be the Jays that these people stole that identity. Because it's just so important to be that thing. Like, it really is just more propaganda bullshit. Wow, the ants are all over my spit. That's really weird. But Kyrie Irving shares the video. Doesn't ask you to watch it. Doesn't ask anything. I would have never known about what the video was. I definitely didn't follow Kyrie Irving, so I definitely wouldn't even known about it. And he gets, 8-game suspension or whatever it is, and he has to apologize, and he does a a really half-assed apology. It's actually pretty funny. But like I say, all this happens within a week and a half. Because Dave Chappelle then cleans it all up and tells you exactly how you're supposed to think. You know, the thing is, if you're a bigot, I don't like you. I don't need your support. I don't need your friendship. I don't need any of it. I'm fighting against that. Bigotry. Bigotry against who people are. Not their choice, but who they are. There are lots of bad choices made, and I absolutely, totally encourage that we call out bad choices and see them for what they are and acknowledge them and shit. But being born a certain way, there is no bigotry towards that. That's just not fair. And if you are a bigot in any fucking form, you're not welcome here. I mean, obviously you can do and say what you want. But as far as my opinion of you goes, it's gone. You're just a piece of shit. And did anybody notice, did Grant give a good reason why he's here? Just want to make sure I didn't mix it up. What did I miss here? Nope, apparently not. Yep. And yep, so it has nothing to do, right? And then and Matt says, why are you here? And of course, Grant doesn't answer that. Why? Because he can't say, it's because I'm a pedo and I don't want someone like you getting somewhere. So I'm trying to do everything I can to get you to quit. That's the true thing. It's about getting us to quit, getting people like me to quit. Getting you guys to quit on me because it's, the feed fucks up and all these other things. And getting me to quit doing it. If they just shut us down, it makes us stronger. People will, just like with anything else, they'll want to know what the thing was. So it's trying to psychologically get us to quit. And because they're such arrogant, fucking inbred, like they honestly think that they're going to come out on top on this one. I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Like what, when you actually start looking at what we're talking about here, it gets pretty scary. These psychopaths and their psychotic cult beliefs and, their ability to victimize themselves and make themselves the victim so they get the sympathy and like it's all really shocking. And you start to like think about the gravity of it all and just how big this operation is. How strong their whole thing is. Watching West Wing really puts that in perspective to me. I definitely, again, don't think the White House works anything like West Wing. But just the presentation that we're given. I mean, if you didn't understand what TV was, and you just were shown West Wing, you would absolutely believe that's the real thing. And the hand of God on his shoulder. We all know your God is a big pedo fan, so that wouldn't surprise me, would it? You're talking about being a Christian here, so if you're a Christian Trump supporter, there's a really good chance that you're a pedo. If you're a Christian and you've been willing to overlook your piece of shit God who continuously allows children to be raped by clergy and does nothing about it, watches, because God's everywhere at all times. He's got this viewpoint. He can see as close as you can get these children being raped, screaming, crying, praying left, please God, please help me, help me. And your God does nothing. Would it surprise me that that God would be a Trump fan? Not even a little bit. Humans have free will. Yep. There's a God's plan and there's free will. You have both, right? That built-in loophole, because someone like me existed, always exists, and says, well, fuck, man, why doesn't God do anything about all these pedos? Oh, well, that's free will. God could just dinkle, dinkle, dink, make it go away, but it doesn't want to. That's free will. Now, whenever somebody wins a race, somebody catches a touchdown, somebody wins an award or anything like that, and they go, first of all, I want to say, none of this is possible without God. God is good. Nobody goes, that's free will. God has nothing to do with it. They never complain about those comments. The free will thing only seems to happen when you're pointing out God's comically, if it wasn't so disgusting, he would be comically powerless. The devil is so super powerful, it can like sneak up and just do all this crazy, crazy shit, interfere with people and all this, blah, blah, blah. You know, God's standing there looking this way. The devil pops up behind him and starts fucking with shit. God turns around real quick, and the devil turns with him and starts fucking with those people. And every time God turns around, the devil's fucking with people behind his back. Is that how that works? I mean, it's literally just the stupidest. Like, it's so hard for me to understand how people believe in such obvious bullshit. And the fact is, when you try talking about it with people, they can't. And it just makes it even more difficult. Every conversation I ever have with a Christian pushes me further away from it. Christian, Catholic, same thing. Muslim, basically the same thing. Any religious person. They just have fucking nothing. Like, they're stupid. They don't even know their own shit most of the time. I know more about their Bible than they do. I definitely know more about the history of the Bible than they do. They identify as this thing, but they don't even know what the rule book says. Because every single one of them is going to hell. Every single one of you is going to hell. You all knowingly, knowing it was wrong, knowing it was a sin, had sex before you were married, and had sex for reasons other than procreation. I mean, look at these comments. Are these all Christians? Is that what we're supposed to believe? All of these people talking shit instead of answering for what's going on? We're supposed to believe that they're just good Christians? We're just good name-calling, shit-talking Christians. Mad because we can't actually argue anything you're saying. It's fucking silly, man. Look at this shit. I love when people are on my feed telling me to get a job. Well, what are you doing? Why aren't you working? It's Monday morning. It's 10 o'clock, 11, whatever, 10:30. You should be at work, right? You should get a job. Unless, of course, you already are working. That makes sense. Oh, I'm sure you're a millionaire. I believe it. Yep. Oh, now the Jew is cleaning his work van, he says. He's cleaning his work van. So instead of doing anything else, watching, listening. How are you cleaning and typing over and over again? Again, and now is answering for why he's here. He just proved that he can answer for what I say. So I said, you know, what is everybody doing? Blah, blah, blah. He responded with, I'm doing this, sir. And so he can clearly hear what's being said. But when it comes to the why are you here, what's your motivation question, he just can't seem to do it. Weird, huh? Weird, huh? All these shit talking, you know, Bible thumpers, mad because their God's a big pedo fan. Their leader is a big pedo fan. And someone like me has the audacity to call them out for what they do. Because clearly, if you continue to support this extremely pedophilic cult that is Christianity, all religion really, if you continue to support Trump, at this point, like seriously, how is anybody still a Trump supporter? It's so funny to me how I've been saying this for such a long time. I've been saying this since before the calling him a pedo thing was popular. I was calling him a pedo, but it wasn't popular. And I would ask people consistently, what is it that you hang your hat on with Trump? Like, what thing has he done to earn such adoration, such loyalty, such blind fucking loyalty? And what did he do, right? And you would think that you know, they would be like, oh yeah, here you go. Well, there's this and there's this. Like if somebody asked me why I feel the way I feel about Trump, why I feel the way I feel about Israel and all that shit, I would give you a list of reasons. I wouldn't hesitate. I would justify my perspective. And yet, these guys just don't do it. And it's so weird to me. Right? It's just strange that people are, you know, I keep talking about the big picture here, and people instead want to talk about me. Such a weird feeling. Like it's so weird to be so powerful. To you know, be over people so much. Yeah, you don't have anything over us. Dude, you watch me religiously. You watch me more than you do most other things in your life. And if I gave more, you'd take more. If I go live again throughout the day, you'll be here again. I clearly matter to you. There are people that have been stalking me for years, decades, over a decade. 10 plus years they've been here. Admittedly. And you just, you know, I've been the same. Actually, I've evolved. It's always been we need to kill pedos, but prior to, I'd say prior to January 1st, 2020, not January 1st, but maybe like the 3rd or something. Jokingly, because I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but whatever, I said my New Year's resolution was going to be that I would stop focusing on things like chemtrails and vaccines and earth shape and all of these what I deem to be distractions, and focus on the head of the monster. Stop focusing on the tentacles and work to cut the head off the monster, which at the time meant cut off Israel and use that money to fund proper pedo hunter groups. You know, government pedo hunters, really eliminate these pedos. That was my switch goal. As I started going deeper into that, by the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub, really helps out. Dislike if you dislike it, though. Make sure you hit that dislike. Ooh, I'm mad at you. Shit, what was I saying? I said I was going to focus on this one particular thing, and as I started to focus on that, it narrowed it down. It was, the idea of Israel. Israel is just an idea. It's just a place. It doesn't have a heartbeat. It doesn't have a brain. It's just a place. It's a representation. The real problem being the cult inside. Like, the beehive isn't dangerous. It's just some paper mache bullshit. It's what's inside that's fucking dangerous, right? And that was where this whole thing sort of started, focusing, and just instead of going, I'm an MMA fighter, I can fight all styles. I'm like, you know what? I can make more money in boxing, so let me focus on these hands. And we refined everything, and really it wasn't even like intentional. It was just, let's get to the bottom of it. And whatever it is, let's figure it out. And every time we get to the bottom of something, it ends up in the same place. It ends up with the same people. And it doesn't matter what I'd been taught my whole life. I was given the same education you guys were. There was no special anything. My family wasn't like ultra religious, but they all believed in shit, and I was poo-pooed because I didn't believe it. But it was all just like, it was just in search of truth, whatever that truth may say. If truth ends up saying that halfies named Guy Williams are the real problem in the world, well, that's what I have to go with. But that's not what happened. And I had been dealing with trolls for a long time prior to that. But prior to that, like I say, it was more about kill the pedos. Obviously, the church is full of pedos. The church, at the time in my mind, ruled the world. I didn't understand that there was an above the church yet. And I had been, you look at old songs, Samson Option and shit, these are like 2016. So clearly I had already started going down that rabbit hole, but I just wasn't there all in until January of 2020. It's also when my interference changed. So immediately there was an uptake in the profiles that became obsessed with me. Like, it had already always been that way. And, it always seemed like my page was sort of on the forefront of it. And I went live the first day you could go live on Facebook and never look back. So I had already been experiencing a lot of crazy shit. And I had a sort of meteoric rise when I wanted to talk about chemtrails all the time. When I wanted to talk about, holy shit, what's happening? Look at these crazy pictures. My feed went from a few hundred friends and 40, 50 following or whatever to maxed out friends, 2,600 follow. Like, it happened within a year. It was quick. And this was before you could go live. And I got all sorts of promotion. I was allowed to go on all sorts of, different podcasts and things like that. Internet radio shows and all that. It wasn't until, that it seemed like it was just this inevitable rise. It was just going to keep happening. But when I started saying, hey, let's talk about who is spraying the chemtrails. Let's not just keep looking at the pretty pictures. Let's talk about who's behind it, what's going on behind it. That's when things started to go wrong. And that's when it was like, why aren't you guys willing to talk about the full story? You just want to talk about 75% of it. Why don't you want to go all the way with any of this? And I kept finding how strange it was that these truthers would turn into normal sheep whenever we got to certain levels of the conversation. They would immediately start having faith. Jesus would come in, you know, trust in the narrative that we're supposedly fighting against, or the narrative provided by what we're fighting against. And it seemed like when I started focusing on Israel, Israel started focusing on me. And what was this consistently climbing, although interfered with lots of times, platform just plateaued out and then dropped. And it was all, you know, it's as things are coming true. That's the craziest part about all this. You know, 10 years ago when I'm saying all these things, I'm the outcast. I'm the outlier. People aren't talking about this nearly as much. You can't say that about them. They're God's chosen people. You can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. You're supposed to be talking about chemtrails. You're supposed to be talking about vaccines. You're supposed to talk about 9/11, just not all the way. You're supposed to focus on Tower 7, Tower 7, Tower 7. And I found that by having the same scrutiny that I have for the official information, that I had, having that same scrutiny with the conspiracy side of things, you see a lot of the same tactics. You see a lot of the same players. How Alex Jones is getting a pass right now is beyond me. Alex Jones should absolutely be canceled by the fucking truth or culture. Alex Jones pushed us into Trump more than fucking anybody. Alex swore that Trump, like, and you know, Alex Jones has all the secret files. Alex Jones has all the secret sources. I have secret sources. Give me this information here. Oh. You need to buy my survival kits. Because I've got this information I'm going to drop here. It's really juicy. I'm going to drop this information. I've got sources. Sources are going to tell me that I've got information. Let me tell you. I'm just going to tell you about. And he just keeps telling you what he's going to tell you, and then he never really does. But everything Alex talks about is stuff that everybody already knows. And you know, a lot of it is because of him. You know, every time people talk about Bohemian Grove and shit, clearly Bohemian Grove is something. But, you know, it's like, okay, so not who's attending the party, who's organizing the party, right? And as far as the whole Alex Jones sneaks in video, you see a fucking owl statue, some bonfires, and you hear some screaming. Literally, nothing is going on that you can see that you can be like, oh my God, that's crazy. It's a little weird. But it's no different than any other fucking goofball bullshit. You know, it's just nothing. There's too much ambiguity in that for you to be able to glean any real information from it. But you have everybody who thinks there's a truth or be like, you've heard about Bohemian Grove, haven't you? Or they'll even, not even that, they'll talk about it like, yeah, well, there's this place called Bohemian Grove. Like, you don't know about it. Everything Alex talks about is shit they want you talking about. And forever, people would bring up Israel and stuff like that, and Alex would defend it. And now suddenly he's coming out being like, I guess I was wrong. Dude, you pushed us into Trump more than anyone else. Fuck Alex Jones. Alex Jones is the definition of controlled opposition. It's not even close. It's not even like in question. Fuck that guy. that race baiting, fucking warmongering, fear mongering motherfucker. He's been the template for the crazy conspiracy theorists for a long time. Let's see. I'm just rambling and trying to place blame rather than coming up with solutions and educating yourself. Just talking out your head, blah, blah, blah. So, other than going on a live platform where anybody can contribute and talking about what I think, which then allows people to correct me if I'm wrong, how else am I supposed to educate? Plus, I constantly read stuff. But what is a better way to educate myself than to ask the people what they think? And why would you think, what do you oppose in what I'm saying? What part has you so perplexed or so upset about what I'm saying here? There, Jazz. Yeah, what job sitting around texting a random dude on YouTube? Right. It's just everything that his last name is Rosenthal. Why you would believe anything he says is beyond me. You guys have to understand, like, Talmudic shit. They don't believe they have to tell us the truth or owe us anything. They literally think we're all their slaves. They're not going to be honest with you. They're just disgusting, disgusting cult members. And they're cowards, and they're really, really stupid. Like incredibly stupid. The fact that this Rosenthal profile thinks it's actually doing a good job, and trust me, it does. It's too stupid to realize, like, it's playing into every stereotype I can lay out. When I need to rely on some random stranger on YouTube. It's like, did you not hear what was said, or did you miss it? If I think a certain way and I put that out, allowing anyone that can to debunk what I'm saying or anything like that, how is there a better way to learn than that? Learning from your peers in real time. If somebody has some sort of information that they can provide that proves anything I'm saying wrong, and I'll just look it up and we can go from there. Like, I'd love to read it. I'd love to read the Chinese version of Team Jorge, act.il. The North Korean, Russian, Afghanistan, Japan, you name any of those countries that aren't supposed to be, the Palestinian version of it. I'd love to see, the counterpoint to what I'm saying. But nobody seems to come at me with anything, right? The most I'm going to get is, well, we say stuff, but you don't read it. You don't agree with it. I love the idea that you won't say why you're here. You won't say what motivates you, because I won't agree with that one. You'll say all the other shit that you know I won't agree with, and you say lots of shit. But the one thing that sort of explains yourself, well, that one you won't say because I won't listen to that one. That's one of my favorites. Have you heard the fairy tale called the Bible? Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's literally like insanity written out on pages. When you read, especially the Jesus parts, it's shocking how crazy that shit is. Now, Jesus, when I grew up, I thought, I guess I sort of pictured Jesus as like a televangelist, right? Where, Jesus made the blind see. That's what I always heard. It was Jesus made the blind see. So I just figured it was like, there was a group of blind people and Jesus was like, voodoo, voodoo. and they could all see. Like that was sort of how I pictured it in my head. I never looked it up, right? Until I did. So the story of Jesus making the blind see, there's this guy, old blind Billy. And he sits in his little spot, and he's been there, he's like 30 years old, and his parents are old, and they're on the outskirts of town because they're pariahs. He's a pariah because he's blind, right? And people like back then, like, ugh, you're blind, ugh, stay away, you disgusting piece of shit. Your family sucks because you're blind. Like that was, I guess, how it was. I guess. But old blind Billy, you know, he sits there all day, every day, asking for money, begging. And Jesus is getting, you know, harangued. Jesus is getting teased a little bit. And he's like, you know, they're like, Jesus, you can't do shit. And Jesus is like, oh yeah? So he goes up to old blind Billy. And and remember, they're in like the desert, right? They're in a completely undeveloped version, even though I guess it wasn't because they had big giant buildings. It's weird to think about, but you know, that area of the world is very desert-like. So they're in the desert sand. They say Jesus spits into the fucking desert sand and creates a paste. So can you imagine how many loogies Jesus had to hawk up to be able to turn a portion of sand into desert sand, you know? That shit's hot. Your spit's gonna evaporate pretty quick. I don't know if Jesus has wetter spit than most, but I guess, you know, his blood is whiny. So, but he spits enough into the desert sand to make a paste. Then he rubs in blind Billy's eyes and says, okay, not here's a bucket full of water, wash yourself off. No, go wash yourself off in that river over there. So old blind Billy makes his way to the river, washes off, comes out. He can see. Everybody's like, holy shit, blind Billy can see. Yay. But one of Jesus' followers is like, hey, Jesus, I got a weird question. And Jesus is like, what's up? Jesus is more like, what's up? He says, Jesus, what did old blind Billy do? What did his parents do? Like, they lived a really shitty life. They were pariahs. We didn't like them. We didn't treat them very well. You know, we were like, ew, he's blind, and they made the blind kid, so they're bad too. Like, what did they do? Were they like mean in a previous life or something? And Jesus is like, verily I say unto you, my Father knew one day I would need to be able to perform a miracle right here and right now. So blind Billy had to be sitting here, right now. And it wouldn't have been believable if it was just some televangelist type thing, where it's a guy nobody in the village has ever seen before. No, you guys had to know who he was. So, you know, he had to be blind so I could make him not blind. Duh. And the disciples like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. Like, what an insane story. The crazy part about the Bible is that you guys all believe it like it's true. Like, the people will say to you like, oh yeah, proved God doesn't exist. Or you know, they can literally see the chemtrails being sprayed across the sky, and they'll be like, prove that's something wrong. You know? Trump can be accused of 80 bazillion different things, and they'll be like, what do you mean? Trump's still a good guy. Like, people require all sorts of evidence whenever you're saying something that goes against the narrative. But when it comes to the things that they believe, like Trump's innocence, they literally have nothing. Like, it's like, well, okay, so why do you think Trump is innocent? Like, what part of what you've heard and what you know of this guy makes you think he's not capable of these things? And the same thing with the Bible. You literally have nothing, not a goddamn motherfucking stupid God as dumb as nothing, stupid piece of shit Jesus thing. Nothing. And you still believe it? And there's actually lots of evidence against. Well, lack of evidence is evidence against, but there's also lots of evidence against it. Plus, there's lots of evidence to show you that it's literally just, all of the characters in the Bible, the whole it's all Jewish. It's not even about Christians. All of the characters are Jewish. All the stories are Jewish. They talk about the Gentiles, us, as a separate group on multiple occasions. Those Gentiles over there, not us, those Gentiles. You're not even the big dog, the top seed in your own religion. Like, I don't understand. You don't think you're God's chosen people. You think a completely different religion that's, hates you is actually your Christian God's chosen religion. And those are the people that are the bad guys in your Bible. The people that actually kill your superhero, kill your Christian God's only kid, those are his favorite people. And if you're not a chosen person, what are you? I know the Bible's real big on you're either big shit or you're slave. So if you're not the big shit, what are you? Isaiah 14 prophecy. Oh, wait, I got to read these. Isaiah 14 prophecy is coming true now, verse 27 through 32. All right, let's see. I got to see this. Oops. Always got to go KJV. That's the old school, right? All right, so we're just going to read the whole thing real quick and see what it says. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. That's how it starts. And will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Do you guys understand? Like, this is not this is what's going to happen kind of thing. The Bible is telling the story of something that's already happened. And then, I always compare it to the Princess Bride. You reading the Bible is like you watching Columbo tell Fred Savage tell Fred Savage the story. You're watching a story inside of a story, and that's what the Bible is. It's talking about a story that already happened, and then somebody is from the past is telling the story of the story that already happened, right? It's fucking weird how people believe this shit. Oh, wait. I wanted to leave it there so I could see. Oh, no, I did see it. Okay. And it shall come to pass that in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. What? How hath the oppressor ceased? Exclamation point. The golden city ceased. Exclamation point. Weird that they had exclamation points and shit back in 2,000 years ago. When you think this came from. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth, hideth, What a dumb word. Hideth. I'm so stupid. No, it's hindereth. My bad. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. What? Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, and stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as me? Art thou become like unto us? Who the fuck is he talking to? Thy prompt is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy viols, VIOLS, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. This is weird. Do you guys realize how weird this shit is? He is talking to Satan? When does it say that? Oh, here it is. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Son of Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm gonna take you out of her. I say, Lucifer, son of the morning. That song's awesome. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I mean, it would be easy for him to think so, since God was so fucking, like, he totally fooled God, right? God was like, you know, he snuck into the meeting with God that this other group was having, and as soon as God saw him, God was like, hey there, Lucifer. Hey, see that guy down there? See that guy Job? He worships me. See? He thinks I'm awesome. And Lucifer is like, hey guys, remember how I told you I was going to trick him when I came in? Watch. Yeah, right, God, but he only does that because you give him so much. And God's like, oh yeah, I'll show you. You can destroy everything you want, just don't kill him. And the whole story of Job, it's just so stupid that God was trying to prove to Lucifer that people will worship him. Fucking silly. Oh, we have a pedo, guys. We have a confirmed pedo, a Trump 2028 pedo. There you are, Mike. He can't help it. He's like, I'm a pedo, look at me. He loves him some pedo. All right. Okay. Now here we are at 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yo, man. Yet thou shalt bring down to hell. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Yeah, this sounds like what's happening right now, for sure. Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm gonna take you out of here. I said, Lucifer, Lucifer, son of the morning. Lucifer, son of the morning. I thought this was going to be better than this, but I didn't realize we were going to get to this part. I thought we were going to talk about... You said this is happening right now, right? Again, you would think, like, how come there's not all these Christians, like, happy that I'm reading this? Why are there so many pedophiles being like... Talk about, like, if I start talking about the Trump pedo situation, then they're going to talk about something else. They don't want to talk about Trump. That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Think about that. Like, what cities are supposedly existing back then? All of the kings of the nations, even all of them, all of the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast of thy grave, out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Shall never be renowned. We're literally, literally still talking about it now. Obviously, that's pretty renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Can I ask one question? This is the one question I always want to ask Christians in this. So this is a conversation between who? Lucifer and who? Can anybody answer that for me real quick? Let's see. Does anybody actually know this shit? Our universe will die billions of years from now into the head death, and we will be reborn into reincarnation. Says who? Well, what makes you arrogantly think you know that's true? This guy was telling me earlier my daughter didn't deserve life for being Jay. Really? Or did I say she didn't deserve to be a piece of shit Jay? Weird how you have to keep making shit up to try to make a point, but you still won't answer why you're here to begin with. What's your purpose? You've been here for literally almost all of the 2 hours I've been live. Today, every other day, you're here all day long. And you're going to say, what's your reason? Humans were created from stardust. Jews and Christians. Well, what about Muslims too, right? Are we going to answer my question here? Nobody knows who's talking here? Now you're just talking dumb shit. So I'm literally reading the passage of the Bible and you're trying to talk about other things? How disgraceful. How disrespectful. Why can't anybody answer me here? Who's talking to... Okay, as long as you're saying all three, then we're in good stuff there. I don't believe in the stardust thing either. That's just silly. It's just another religion. So does nobody know who is talking to Satan here? Buddhism is the closest thing to what's actually happening. I mean, why does it have to be something from the past? Why do we need to rely on a past that we can't prove, we can't see, we can't, we're simply told what to think? How about we just take all of the religions that exist now, take all the good stuff that those things bring, remove all the bad, negative, sexist, racist, homophobic shit, and just make a one world religion where we worship man and what we're capable of, and not some sky daddy bullshit. Oh, praise be to the Lord, blah, blah, blah. Just the dumbest shit. Did you see the message about not supporting the hate Guy Williams is giving you? I lack basic comprehensive skills. That's what it is. Typical Christian. So none of you actually know this, huh? All right, well, I tried. See, this is what I mean. You try to get people to engage, but they just can't. So the question being, who is talking to Satan here? I'm not really sure. But whoever it is, it seems like it's a conversation between Satan and whoever this is. All right? So if Satan and whoever this is having a conversation, who's writing it down? Just wondering. Who's writing it down that, these conversations apparently had between two people? To me, that's one of the like smokiest smoking guns when it comes to the Bible and all the bullshit. Who wrote this shit down? Bring up Job. Job is stupid. Again, funny how all these good Christians don't know what they're talking about. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Gotta love how the Bible is pushing the slaughter of children yet again. For I will raise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. Just killing people, just killing people. Kind of crazy how many times the Lord is just killing people, especially the Jewish God, especially Yahweh. And the most ridiculous story in all of it, the Exodus. The Exodus is such a stupid... The Exodus is one of those stories where they don't even try to say, like, hey, maybe it's true. It could maybe be true. According to, like, all the scholars across the board. I mean, come on, that's fucking stupid. 2 million people wandering the desert for 40 years? Come on, man, that's stupid. Like, most people can't even fucking... They can't even begin to back that one up. Yet that one is essential. They say it's an essential story to the Judaism myth. Because the universe literally breathed life into it, everything has some body, blah, blah, blah. This guy is angry, caps locks and angry. God allows Satan to take everything out of it, but tells him not to kill Job. Right. Oh, the whole story is... The worst part is, like, the entertaining bit is the first, 2-3 chapters. It's like 42 chapters long. And 30 fucking plus of those chapters are Job and his 3 friends talking about this. Well, what about this? Well, what if I did this? Well, what if I did this? Well, what if I did this? And it actually fits that accent. Like it's some Hasidic guys in a fucking bathhouse having one of their stereotype discussions. Is human faith real, or is it just a convenience? I mean, faith is real. They have real faith in the convenience of it. Is the faith that they, the thing that they have faith in? Like, faith is the absence of logic. Faith is the absence of reason. Faith is the absence of evidence. So, clearly, you have faith when you have nothing else. When you have proof, you don't need faith. You believe it because you have proof. But most of us don't realize just how much faith we have. We have faith that the history we're told is true. We have faith that the sun is a big fucking ball 93 million miles away, 400 times the size of the earth, blah, 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 blah. We have faith that our government isn't one big conspiracy. You have faith that Israel doesn't control that conspiracy for some strange fucking reason. I have no idea why. They flat out brag about it. Oh, let's finish this. Because we got to read about what a dickhead the Lord is. The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. I thought about it, so now it's got to happen. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. This is the purpose this is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For the Lord of hosts hath proposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? In the year that King Ahaz died was this burden. So whenever King Ahaz died, that's when we're talking about. Like, long time ago. Why anybody thinks this is happening now is beyond me. Rejoice not thou, whole Palestinia, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestinia art dissolved, for there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. What shall one then answer the messengers of the nation? That the Lord hath found Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it. I mean, it sounds like crazy, crazy nonsense to sort of justify the genocide that's taking place. Never mind the fact that it's that's not prediction, right? A prediction isn't that you take the narrative that's given and then fit your situation around it. Only in a way that's convenient, though. An ambulance. Larry Fink owns us all. It's very true. Larry Finkelstein. Good thing he changed his name, huh? That is the last part, dum-dum. And no, I'm not going to read any more of this shit. I fucking hate this book. I hate everything about this book. It's just a disgusting, racist, supremacist control scheme. I mean, just the thought of it is just, it's so ridiculous. And it's like, I don't understand why anything is based on it or affected by it that doesn't want to be. We're talking about something so fucking outrageous that the only way you can believe in it is through faith. There is no, well, look, this is clearly true because of this. Here's some evidence of that. Here's some evidence of this. It's all just bullshit. And it's so contradictory of itself. Why would the number one organization associated with this shit also be the number one organization associated with pedophilia? Why would those things even be, like, slightly intertwined. Why isn't it those are the most opposite ends of the spectrum? If you want to be safe, the one place you know you can go to is the church, because those are godly men and there's no way anybody would ever do anything to hurt you in the church. Why isn't it that way? Also, why do all the clergy wear yarmulkes? But never mind that part. As a prophet, his words were wrote down through the multiple people, but they were the words of... Yeah. Again, I just got done reading you a conversation between Satan and somebody. Who wrote that shit down? One of the worst stories in the Bible is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Especially the way it's been manipulated into being like, yeah, well, that's why gay people are bad. Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah. Your average fucking dum-dum that says Sodom and Gomorrah has no idea what that shit says. But as far as like ridiculous bullshit stories go, it's the top of the fucking heap. So you have Lot, who is this old 90-plus-year-old man sitting outside the gates of Sodom and Gomorrah. So I guess it's like a double city, both surrounded by walls and shit. I don't really know. It's fucking stupid. The geography in the Bible is really it's really suspect, and you wonder like how did people travel so frequently in the Bible days using Godspeed? Bum bum bum. But you have Lot, who is sitting outside the gates, I guess by himself. So immediately, who's there writing it down is automatically comes into mind. But these two angels come walking up, and Lot's like, hey guys, hey, why don't you come spend the night at my house? And they're like, no. What are you talking about? We got to go over here anyway. Sorry. And he's like, oh, well, it's almost nighttime, and you can stay at my house, and I'll give you some unleavened bread. And the angels are like, unleavened bread, that sounds good. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, sub. Like, literally, take 2 seconds to click the share button. Share it on Facebook. Say, this guy's crazy. Come tell him so. Whatever you got to do. But like, share, sub. Help out. Or dislike it. Don't forget to dislike if you dislike it. But they're suddenly at Lot's house. And now this is the part that makes gay people bad. So just think about like 2,000 years ago, you know, there's a bunch of guys like banging anvils and shit. Blink. There's horses and carriages, and there's thatch roof houses, and it's dirty and it's smelly, and blink, dink, and there's all these guys working on blacksmiths are making horseshoes and fucking weapons, and you know, wenches are fucking churning milk and shit. I don't know what you think. 2,000. Well, I guess it would be minus like 1 or something. I don't really know. I don't know what you think what it looked like back then, but just think about what you think it looks like back then. And then suddenly, all of the men of both Sodom and Gomorrah just drop what they're doing, and they're suddenly gay. But, key thing, they're not like, hey, let's all start dancing and have an orgy. They're not like gay, like let's fuck each other. They're only gay for the 2 guys that they somehow know is inside of Lot's house right now. Like it was almost nighttime, so how the message went out, hey, everybody that's got closet homosexual shit going on, drop what you're doing and meet out in front of Lot's house real quick. But that's what happened. And so they noticed that there's this mob of suddenly gay guys out in front of Lot's house. And Lot goes out front and he's like, guys, what are you doing? And they're like, Lot, we want to have sex with those 2 guys you have in your house. We want to fuck them in their butts. And Lot's like, no, you can't do that. That's terrible. And they're like, yeah, we don't really know why, but we want to. And Lot doesn't even suggest, like, if you're gay, just start fucking each other. He doesn't even suggest that. But Lot's like, hey, how about this? How about this? I got these two virgin daughters. Yeah. Tom, Charlie, you're married. You're betrothed to be married to them. I got these two prime virgin daughters. Now, you know that if they're virgins, they got to be less than like 14 back then. And I guess they're like 1 to 2 years apart. So 13, 14, 12, 13, something along those lines. Maybe younger. I got these two prime virgin daughters. How about I give you, this rape mob, my virgin daughters, and you do what you want with them. Just leave these two guys who just showed up. Leave them alone. And they're like, tempting as that may be, no, we, for some reason, know about these two guys in your house, and we want to have sex with them. We want to know them. And and this time they start coming towards Lot. Slow motion, arms out. Zombie style. And the door opens, and one of the angels pulls Lot in the house real quick. And then the angels, dinkle, dinkle, dink. And now they are suddenly gay, and they're blind. And they're like, oh shit, we can't find the door handle that was just right in front of us. Even though we're still gay, we're blind now. Oh no. And then the Autobot logo comes forward. And it switches to Decepticon because now it's just later. And I guess the mobs all went home, and I don't really know, but the angels say, hey, the secret is God was going to actually destroy this place because they know knows how gay all these people are. And Lot's like, yeah, they weren't really gay till you guys showed, but okay, whatever. And they're like, God's going to destroy both Sodom and Gomorrah tomorrow morning. Fire and brimstone raining from the sky because he's a merciful God. You guys need to get the fuck out. And Lot's like, but look, I'm really old. I'm so old. I can't go very far. There's a small town just direction of here. Can we go to that town? Will you spare that town? And the angels are like, let me check. Hey, God. And God's like, what is it, Tony? And Tony's like, hey, God. Hey, yeah, I'm down here with Lot. How are you tonight? He's like, what does he want, Tony? Well, let me tell you something. Lot can make some really great unleavened bread. And I know you saw it. The whole gave up his virgin daughters to the rape mob and all that for us, right? Yeah, Tony, what do you want? I'm eating. Well, so Lot was wondering if he can go to the town that's distance away from here, and you'll spare that. And God's like, Tony, this better not be another one of your bullshit things. And Tony's like, no, God, he's really excited. He loves your plan, but he's really old, and he just doesn't think he can go very far. Tony, he's going to stay in that town, right? Yeah, of course, God, of course. All right, Tony, don't be writing me any wood. This better not come back in your face or it's coming out of your check. Get the fuck out of here. Close the deal. Click. Tony's like, all right, God, yeah, you have a great night too. All right, kiss Mrs. God for me. All right, I'll talk to you later, buddy. Guess what? Good news. God said you can go to the town over there. No problem. And Lot's like, okay. So then he goes to the daughters, the men that the daughters are betrothed to. And he's like, hey guys, hey, I wanted to tell you something. And they're like, yeah, Lot, what's going on, future father-in-law? And he's like, you know how earlier today you were all gay and then blind for a little while. And they're like, yeah, that was fucking weird. I'm really grateful that we didn't take the rape mob because, can't marry your daughter if they're not a virgin. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's crazy. Thank you. I don't know what I was going to do, but I thought that was a good one, don't you? Oh, yeah. Give up your virgin daughters to the rape mob. That was a good plan, God. God's like, well, let me tell you something. Those two guys, those were angels. That's why you guys were like suddenly gay and blind. And God is going to destroy everything down here because everybody's so gay. And they're like, what are you talking about, you crazy old man? Obviously, if we weren't gay until those angels came down, then we only became gay because God wanted us to be. I mean, I'm not gay anymore, and I wasn't even gay for anybody else. I didn't even know what those guys looked like. I just knew I wanted to fuck their butts. It was really weird. But, God's not going to do something like that, you crazy old man. Get out of here. So Lot's like, okay, I tried to warn you. And then it flips again. And now it's morning. And the angels are like, all right, you got to go. Whatever you do, don't look back and just go. And so Lot, his wife, and his two daughters go all Godspeeding across the desert. And they can hear that the fire and the brimstone is raining down. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And you know how women are like dumb. So the wife turns and looks. And of course, she gets turned into what you would expect, a pillar of salt. Which she must have been ahead of the group, right? Because if she turned into a pillar of salt and she was behind them, they would have had to turn and look to see her, and, they would have been turned into pillars as well. But so then they finally get to this town, and Lot is like, you know what? I don't trust those angels and God. Turns out I have a little cave set up at the top of that mountain over there. It's got food and supplies for life, along with a shit ton of alcohol in case we ever needed that for anything. We should go up there. I know I told these angels we'd be here, but let's go to that mountain hill or cave. Let's go there instead. Which you never do find out. Like, was that an issue? Did Tony get in trouble? Because he wrote some more wood. Lot didn't stay in the city he was supposed to stay in, the town. And again, who's writing all this conversation down? This conversation between the angels, the conversation between Lot and his daughters. We don't know. And that story's crazy, right? Well, it gets better. So they go up to the cave. And I don't know how long they're in the cave, but they look back and they can see that Sodom and Gomorrah is smoldering. And I guess they're allowed to look back now for some reason, not sure. And it's funny, I bet you there's a lot of fucking Christians that were watching this, like you saw the numbers sort of start to drop, because they don't like this part. They don't want to be held responsible for this part, right? You guys don't like this part, right? Because now suddenly the two daughters, the 12, 13-year-old girls, are having this conversation in the cave that, again, who's writing it down? Not really sure. Little naked butt cherubs flying around writing everything down, right? That's what it is. But they're talking and they're like, man, it's really too bad our father only has two useless, dumb women. No one to carry on his name. He doesn't have any sons to carry on his name, just us dumb girls. I got an idea. Why don't we get him so drunk that he won't remember it the next day, because as long as the man doesn't know, it's okay. It's okay if the woman knows, because she's just a dumb girl. Girls, who gives a shit? If the man were to know, it would be awful. But if we get him super, super drunk and then we lay with him, he'll get us pregnant with boys and we can carry on his name. So the first night, the older sister gets daddy super drunk, and then I don't even know how to, like, if she's a teenager and he's like a 90-something-year-old man, I don't know how his dick still works if he's so drunk he doesn't remember it, and he's like 90. But it's rape. It's rape any way you slice it. But it's just weird that the way it's worded. Like, she goes and lays with him, and the next day she says to her sister, "It worked. I am pregnant with a boy." These virgins, these young girl virgins, know that they're pregnant the next day. And it's a boy. And the next night, the younger sister does the same, and the next day she's like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant too. Look at that." They know. They don't have to wait for the EBT test. Or whatever the fuck that shit is. EPT? EBT is food stamps, right? EPT is the test. They know they're pregnant, and fortunately, they're both pregnant with boys, and each one of those boys grows up to be the leader of the great nation, one of which is the Moabites, and the other one is the Islamites, or I don't remember. I don't remember what the second one is. But the Moabites are what the people who founded the Nation of Islam say where black people came from. So black people are the results of the old man Lot and his daughter having a kid, because that wouldn't make a retarded kid or anything. That would make one of two great rulers that are the founders of peoples for the rest of the time. Like, it's just insane. It's just insane. Why you know this story exists in your book and you use it to justify your hatred of gay people. Why you know that this shit exists and you don't go, "Yeah, I am not going to be a part of that shit anymore. Fuck that." That is the worst story I can think of. That just says so much about you as a person. You're probably a Trump supporter. Let's see. When the eye is, it will see everything good. When the eye is bad, it will see everything bad. I mean, seriously. You don't go, "Yeah, that's a really fucked up story. I hate that story. I wish it wasn't in the Bible. It's really fucked up." You don't say anything like that. You say somebody just sees it badly. Well, you're just looking at it wrong. Tell me how to look at it then. Tell me how to look at it. "I don't think you've read the Bible." Yeah, I just did that whole narrative because I didn't read that shit. Go ahead and tell me what part I got wrong. What part of that Bible was that story did I get wrong? Get in the house. No, you need to get in the house, Jessica. Hope you're not pregnant. You're pregnant, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Your finger's pregnant, isn't it? Well, you need to keep it out of that dirty little hole. Your finger'd probably be okay. I'm just being honest with you. I'm trying to give you my professional opinion. I've heard some terrible, terrible things. I hear it has teeth. I heard it feels like feeding a horse. God could come down from heaven and still not save Jonathan from his delusions. It's all just crazy, man. It's crazy. And you can see how, like, the average person who claims to be Christian, they don't know shit. It's strange to think that you would belong to something and not know it back and forth. The Bible isn't meant to be lived out. Yeah, no, it is. See, this is that loophole that people try to do now because it's 2025 and shit doesn't make sense. But the reality is, it's supposed to be like taken word for word. Your arrogance can't, there's no room for, it's like a version of Wikipedia, right? If you really could just edit it, if you really could just interpret things how you wanted, then there would be no structure and there would be no point to it. It would just be, wild west shit where people would just do as they please and interpret as they please, which is really what most people do. It's just more of that arrogance, and how do you know? The arrogance comes in because how do you know? How do you know which stories are meant to be taken literally and which ones are meant to be allegorical, and you're supposed to interpret it however you feel? Which parts of those stories, how does that work?
Did you tell Jessica her vagina has teeth?
I might have. I said it feels like feeding a horse. She said her finger was fucked up, so I figured 1 + 1, how else did her finger get all fucked up?
Those are beautiful.
I thought you'd like those. I grew those just for you.
There's gonna be more budding out too. They're so pretty. Right over here,
Only correct. His narrative is the only correct, period, not factual. Andrea, I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is really just ridiculous. The Trumpstein files. Yes, good old Trumpstein.
Hey, Marcus. Did they try sending you home on Saturday?
But again, see, this is part of that arrogance, and most of you have that same arrogance when it comes to. Do you have a roach upstairs?
Yeah.
Dumb cracker. Oh. It's it's just like how you are with everything, right? So many of you are just so unbelievably arrogant. You call me arrogant because I question everything. I call you arrogant because you think you know which things are real and which things aren't. You think somehow you are the truth detector. You are the one that can figure out which narratives, of course 9/11 isn't the way they say it is. Of course JFK. I mean, everybody that's on here talking shit, you better have gotten every single one of your booster shots. Because you believe what the narrative tells you, right? You're not some arrogant douchebag who thinks that they know better. Well, yeah, the same narrative I believe for everything else told me I needed to get a bunch of booster shots, but I didn't want to do that one. Why not? You better believe that Oswald killed Kennedy. You better believe that. I mean, whatever narrative they've told you, you better believe it. You better get your flu shots every year. You better get the plethora of shots because, you want to get your RSV shots and you want to get your flu shots and your Gardasil shots and all these. You better have all of that shit. You believe everything they say. Then you better not question anything. You better vote when you're supposed to. You better, all of that shit. Because you don't want to be some arrogant douchebag who just pretends like they can see through some things. I know which things they tell us are true and which ones they aren't. I can't, of course, tell you why or how. But I think this way, and that's how it is. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. And it's, again, it's that same narrative where I ask you, like, how do you know which Bible verses are meant to be taken literally and which ones are you're supposed to interpret? He said something like, but I still have to judge Carter because my fairy tale book tells me to. You need help, man. You're, Y-O-U-R, talking to a phone like it's a person. You got beef with nobody. Ha. We should listen to you because you're, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, clearly super intelligent. He's preaching what you're saying is merely speculative and is not established with facts. Right. It's easy to say shit like that. I always wonder, how come nobody actually says, guy, you're wrong about this, and this is the reason? Like, you can do the blanket, oh, you're wrong, and you're speculating. What thing am I speculating? You tell me what thing I'm speculating, and if I am, why it's not a legitimate speculation. I bet you have nothing to say. You'll never get any reason as to why they're here. They won't say that. I think so. I think if you bring it, look at Jazz can sit here and say the same thing. They can talk about like these blanket sort of dumb statements where they stroke each other. That's a good one. You said a good one. That's what I would say. But when you ask them, like, what are you doing? What are your beliefs? Why are you here? What's motivating you to be here for hours on end? Trying to cause trouble and doing everything you can to avoid what's being said. How does that work? I'm not smart. I'm not smarter than no one. So then you're smarter than everyone? Is that what you're saying? But the atheists I have talked to told me they are smarter than me. They are. If you believe in any sort of religious nonsense, then yes, I'm smarter than you. By far. I have no problem. And it's funny to say that. Like to think like he feels like he's righteous because he says, I'm not smarter. He means to say than anyone. So you're saying like 2-year-olds and first graders and really low IQ people, you're not smarter than any of those people? You're just some dumbass? Is that what you're saying? That's crazy. I'm not smarter than no one. I think you said it pretty well. But like, think about how fucking stupid that is. And that's the kind of stupid shit that they teach us. That's the kind of stupid shit you're supposed to think. You're not supposed to, think that you're good enough or you're smart enough or you can see things honestly without being told what to think about it. I'm not smarter than no one. Who thinks like that? It's not even like you accidentally said it. You typed it out and then clicked enter. Let's see. Arrogance and ignorance is different. What are you explaining here? Where's the explanation part? Yeah, I don't see it. Sorry. I love when people claim that they do something, but they don't. If you don't think you're smarter than people, again, that's on you. Although you're sitting here on my feed for hours on end trying to prove what? You keep trying to say I'm wrong about shit, kind of. So that would mean you know more about it than I do, right? When you don't have facts backing up your statements, then your statements are invalid. There you go. Lack of evidence is evidence against. So simple. If you can't provide evidence for what you're saying, then it's pointless. Why are you even saying it? Your Y-O-U-R on a feed for hours on end problem. You got nothing of worth to be doing. Well, I'm doing this, and you're watching me begging for my attention. So what does that say about you? Man, are you dumb? It's so crazy how dumb so many people are. It's crazy. Jonathan's saying he's not better than anyone. No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying he's not smarter than no one. He's not, but you're not reading our comments properly. Oh, right, I didn't read it properly. I'm supposed to interpret it. I'm not smarter than no one. You're, Y-O-U-R, talking, not to the bot prac. Jesus, people wonder why I stop reading these comments. The insane stupidity that some of these people have, just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Man, it's hot out here. Oh, sitting down hurts. Standing up hurts. So fucking sucks. At least I can pass the time, right? I don't know, it's their opinion. My opinion. I think you have drug-induced psychosis. Oh, we gotta run to that now, don't we? Can't actually say anything of merit, so now we have to run to dumb shit. The literal talking points. They always end up saying the same shit. So crazy, man. It's such a weird thing. It's disheartening. You know, it sucks. You see that, like, you know, it makes sense. And then you see the way the world works. And, again, that there would be anyone here talking shit about the guy who thinks we should kill pedos. Whatever differences we may have, that should be a unifying bond, and we should be working towards it together. Same thing with stopping genocide. Psychosis is believing something that isn't necessarily true. It can be better. Isn't it interesting how, again, they consistently can keep saying dumb shit like that, but they can't actually say what thing they're talking about. And then they'll say the blanket, oh, everything you're saying is wrong. Yes, everything I'm saying is wrong. So why would you watch for such a long time? It's just such a weird... It only makes sense to me when I look at it from the Team Jorge perspective. I really can't imagine that there are this many people who are this obsessed with me and have nothing going on in their world. They can't even create their own content. They have to piggyback somebody else's bullshit, where they end up providing the example of the worst things possible. Oh, it's been a little longer than that, you doofus. And it's not your first time, so... You didn't do anything. You made a blanket statement that drug psychosis is me believing something that isn't. But what thing are you talking about? You didn't do anything because you're stupid. I don't know. Like, and you're so desperate for a win here because you're just getting smashed left and right that you think, like, Oh, look, I got something. If you have to explain that you got something, you didn't get something. But yet, like I say, you're not willing to address what that thing that you're talking about is that I'm getting wrong here. Wasting my potential and frying, blah, 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 more bullshit. What contents you got, and literally just at you. Sure. Oswald killing Kennedy, desperate for a win. Okay, yeah, what? Oswald killing Kennedy. Do you not understand why that was brought up? Do you need, like, help with that? The point being that back a long time ago, they did studies that said 87% of the population doesn't believe Oswald killed Kennedy. Yet all that same 87% will believe the other narratives that the system gives them. And it's their own arrogance that makes them think they can decipher which things are true and which things aren't, just like you do with the Bible. I think I've explained this now a couple of times. It's amazing that you're so slow that you still don't really get it. What is speculative? Oswald killing Kennedy is speculative. What are you talking about? The majority of the people don't believe the narrative. They were given the narrative by the system that tells them to get vaccines, that tells them to believe in Jesus, that tells them that vote for one of two parties. And they pick and choose which things they believe. Most people, if you believe that voting matters, if you believe in vaccines, if you believe in any of it, well, then you have to believe that Oswald killed Kennedy. You don't get to be a speculative person on that. You have to believe the narrative that the machine that you believe told you to believe. And the machine doesn't tell you to speculate. The machine doesn't tell you to question things. The machine tells you, listen to this narrative, whether it makes sense or not. And most of you are smart enough to see it with your own eyes and be like, that doesn't make any sense. So you become the conspiracy theorist when it comes to that shit. All of you out there who don't take every single shot that they tell you to take, you're becoming a conspiracy theorist. You don't think you need that shot? They told you you need that shot. You believe them in every other way, don't you? But again, you don't understand what's being said, right? You don't understand why that makes you arrogant. What makes you the expert suddenly? Christians especially. Christians, you believe that your thing is right. But all of those Muslims, that the billions of Muslims out there, they're wrong. They outnumber you, but you're right. And you believe I guess when it comes to the Jews, I'm not even really sure what you believe about that. It's a different religion, so I'm not sure what you do there, but you believe that the Hindus are wrong and the Buddhists are wrong, and then the thousands of other religions that exist or have existed, they're all wrong. But your Christianity is right. What makes you think that way? Other than flat out arrogance. You believe it because you believe it. You believe they're wrong because you believe they're wrong. Because, in reality, you're intelligent when it comes to the other religions. You go, no, that's fucking stupid. That's stupid. Muhammad, that's just stupid. Allah, his name's not Allah, it's God. Like, that doesn't make you sit here and pray 5 times a day. What's wrong with you? That's stupid. You're not going to eat when they say not to eat. That's stupid. You logically look at every other religion and think they're stupid. How dare they think such stupid things? But then when it comes to your Christianity, you're like, oh yeah, give me a piece of that Jesus body. Let me get a sip of that Jesus blood. Nothing wrong here. Hey, make sure you cut my newborn baby's penis. Got to do that. Don't want God destroying the earth again. Right? That makes sense to you. And you know that's true because of that shit's true, but the Muslim customs, those are weird and wrong. It's amazing how prominent arrogance is. And yet all of the most arrogant people, the people who believe that they can go to sleep, just before they go to sleep, God may have a plan, but they can be like, hey, yo, God, can you change your plan to fit my needs? And God will be like, okay. Even though if my plan went this way, a whole bunch of other events would have happened, butterfly effect style. I'll make it go your way. So now a whole bunch of other events happen, and then those are all affected by a whole, like, it, you know, it just changes so many things if you change one little piece. But God's like, okay, Billy, you gave $100 to your church, because, you know, God doesn't answer prayers. God answers tithing. But you believe that you know, you can close your eyes really, really hard, say some ritualistic, now why they me down that slave, and as long as you do the things in the right order and your hands are together the right way, God will change its mind. But those stupid Muslims, yeah, they're so stupid. You believe that you can read the Bible and go, okay, this part is definitely true. Well, this part is just an allegory. This part is just something that I'm supposed to interpret on my own. So thinking I don't believe in God is smart, but people who believe in God are stupid. Yes, absolutely. And no, that's not arrogance. Again, I don't believe that I can talk to the creator of the universe and get it to bend its whims at my tithings. That's a level of arrogance I can't even begin to comprehend. You think that the all-powerful God that makes the fucking planets, because for some reason you don't know your Bible, so you think we live in a big giant universe. But the God that makes all the planets do all the things, breathes life into all the babies, you know, gives AIDS to all the other babies, you know, that God that's super busy is like, oh wait, Ryan is fucking, he's doing the prayer ritual. Let me see what he wants. Let me see. Oh, Jonathan's doing the prayer ritual. Let me just stop what I'm doing for a minute. What was that, Jonathan? You want this job? You want the job more than that guy over there with the 4 kids whose life that you don't know anything about, and they desperately need the job more than you, but guess what? They didn't pray. That's your job. That's what happens, right, Jonathan? I'm arrogant for not believing in that. You're not arrogant at all for believing in that bullshit. And see, it's funny because you'll say something and then I'll roast the shit out of you with the response and you won't acknowledge it. You'll just say something else that's stupid. I don't believe in the Bible. Yeah, you do. If you believe in God, you believe in the Bible, you goofball. And you might not like this either, but if you believe in God, you're a Catholic. You just don't like Catholicism because I guess you're too smart for it. More than likely, it's because it's just too much work. But you don't believe in the Bible, so what are you even arguing anymore? What's your motivation to argue? John's coming up with something dumb right now. Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny? You're just sitting here waiting like you know it's going to be something else stupid. It's just crazy that these people believe this shit. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's so fucking goofy. And it's so arrogant. Again, do you honestly think, like, God is, like, I've asked people that before, and they say, oh, yeah, I prayed for a wife. God gave me a wife. I prayed for a car. God gave me a car. God gave me a son. I prayed for a son. Let's see. You don't need to pray. What God got prepared for you, you will get. Doesn't matter if you pray for it or not. That was fucking. You just totally lost on that one. You want to talk about stupid? That was pretty fucking dumb. You done mother, you done mother. Yeah, that's what it all means. That if I did all the math, I shot all the smack, I fucking, you know, smoked all the crack and drank all the alcohol, beat my wife, hit my kids, fucking kicked my dog. Would that make any of this shit more true? Or less true or whatever? How does what I do in my personal life affect anything that has to do with this nonsense? This joke. Religion is beyond your scope. Yep, it sounds like it. I'm the one that seems to be having trouble making my point, right? You guys who keep coming up with every deflection and distraction you can, you've got it down. Oh, it's just such an insane bunch of shit. You wouldn't have a factor. What? It's just dumb. Like, it makes it so I just don't even want to read the comments because you know it's going to be dumb shit. You know, this belief you have is just ridiculous. And you can't answer for anything that's said. You just keep crybabying. And that's the standard Christian response. Like, this is what you do. How can you argue for something so stupid? Read it metaphorically. Read it in a different perspective. Okay, well, whose metaphorically should I be reading it as? How do I get to, what arrogant way do I get to decide that? I get to decide what metaphor is being used and how it's being used. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good book of rules. And again, how do you know that one's supposed to be read metaphorically and the other parts are fucking true? How do you arrogantly decide which is which? What bits of the Bible is true and what bits are a metaphor? Exactly. They're not going to fucking say it. You can keep we can keep saying it. They're going to keep avoiding the answer. Decipher it like you should. Digest the information. Like, again, this is the best you have. Can you imagine how embarrassing that brain break is? Where you're sitting there and you're trying to make arguments, but it's just coming out so stupid. You can't even answer direct questions. You just keep going with simple nonsense. Decipher it like you should. Who decides that? And again, how do you decide which things need deciphering and which things are the truth? You have to admit he's trying. Fucking stupid. You know, this will probably lead to the comment section getting cut off because this is what they do when they start when shit starts overriding and they can't use it. They can't come up with anything else. It like short circuits the system when they start looking stupid. Isn't it funny that the Bible has you so bothered? No. It's the justification for raping children all over the world. No, I'm definitely proudly bothered by it. You decide, is the glass half empty or full? What? What level of fucking insanity is that? When it comes down to, like, let's explain the fundamental beliefs and, the backbone of the belief structures and all that. And you're like, well, it's chicken or the egg. The glass is half full, half empty. Fucking stupid. Something you find out. That is something you, for real, he's triggered by it. Yep, super triggered by it. Like, look at the desperate need for the win. They have to, look, I triggered him. Look it. It's so interesting how, because they can't actually make good points, they can't get the win in any sort of intelligent way, that it turns into this shit over and over again. Right? It's just like a cycle of maybe 5-10 options they have. And they just keep going and going, and then they just break. I'm the one that's going against the narrative. I'm the one that's going against the thousands of years of programming, blah, blah, blah. You should have a hell of a lot, an easier time destroying what I'm saying, because you have everything going for you. I'm the one that has the difficult job here. You should be able to present me with shit, and then I'm supposed to debunk it. But that just never works that way. I end up presenting a bunch of shit that nobody can even begin to approach. So they just start saying dumb shit. Religion is easy to discredit when it's hard for you to understand. Rather than shitting on your viewers, you should listen rather than calling them stupid or something. Right. Because saying I don't understand the Bible isn't calling me stupid. The reason I don't like it is because I don't know it. Isn't that funny? You always hear that from Christians. They act like the reason you don't like their thing isn't the plethora of examples you provide. It's because you don't know what it says. And they can't seem to give you any sort of example of what you're getting wrong or what you're misunderstanding. But it's these blanket statements. I could see you looking at it the wrong way, yup. How dare I look at the fact that Lot gave up his 14-year-old, his teenage daughters to the rape mob to save 2 strangers. And man, if that doesn't mean gay people are bad, I don't know what does. How dare I look at things like that? Muslims are knocking on 8-year-olds and no one says a word about it. Yep, it's those Muslims. Let's try to change the subject. I bet that's a Steinerberg. You presented the same shit. You presented an argument like 50 times and never have me provided. What are you even talking? See, so again, instead of saying you said this and you were wrong because of this, it's, you said that, you said an argument. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about, you doofus? Stop saying blanket shit. You're making yourself look stupid. Focus on a particular thing and tell me what thing I'm getting wrong and how I'm getting it wrong. Come on. You're clearly capable of typing out all kinds of dumb nonsense. Let's see if you can make yourself sound intelligent at least once. At least once. You can't debunk anything. You're, Y-O-U-R, too slow. And it's okay, buddy. You give a bunch of opinions and thoughts on something you know nothing about. Right, because that's what it sounds like. Because I'm not presenting you with a whole bunch of Bible stuff and then saying, all right, tell me what I'm getting wrong. I'm like, dude, what does it say? I don't know anything about it. See, this is another one of these same comments. Telling me what I'm doing, but not telling me what I'm getting wrong. Oh, you're doing this. You're doing, well, I would tell you, but. You just don't know what you're talking about, mister. Which part? Which part am I getting wrong? Which part? Come on, you're good. You're better than me at this. You're clearly capable of writing these big, long-winded nonsense. You know what's funny? I'm assuming that this is a female, and I guess as far as the Bible goes, you're not a big fan of 1 Timothy 2:12, huh? I don't have to re-explain. Now we're claiming that we explained something, and that we can keep talking shit over and over again. But we can't restate the thing that supposedly proved something. I mean, it's the same fucking dumb shit over and over again. It's such childish, weird, it's not even childish, it's dumb, Israeli, inbred, stupid shit. This is what they're capable of. This is how they do shit. There's nothing here. I don't have to re-explain it. I don't have to say it again. I said it once, you just missed it. Oh, it's such a joke. It really is. Like I just it drives me crazy that these are the people that are keeping us slaves. How does such a stupid group of people keep the rest of us so fucking, corralled? Yep. I'm deflecting from what part am I deflecting from? By addressing exactly what you're saying and then pointing out that what you're saying is stupid and how it's stupid. Like I'm addressing the point and then breaking it down. The thing I keep asking you guys to do, but you can't do. But I guess that's deflect. Okay, so here, how about this? Why don't you start deflecting since that's what you think deflecting means? Come on, deflect from what I'm saying here. Now you're talking to some random person again. He wants truth and seeks truth, but I don't just listen to what some dumb random person says, even though, again, you're not saying what is wrong here, what part I'm not getting right. You're just talking nonsense. You still haven't explained how you know which things are metaphors and which things are meant to be true. I wasn't the only one. You don't like religion because you don't know about it. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's not like I'm quoting all kinds of Bible shit and talking about it. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. It's fucking stupid. You believe in a fairy tale book. There you go. Look at how crazy this is. Again, let's focus on one thing. Come on. Come on, dum-dum. Come on. Just put all of your energy into one thing. You say what that one thing was that I got wrong and why I'm wrong about it. Come on, you can do it. Do it one time. Just make one reasonable argument. Any of you can do it, but I'm really hoping Ryan can do it. I'm not. And you clearly know what I'm saying. What I just mentioned. So which part? I don't know religion. Like again, that's not an answer there. Which part of religion did I get wrong? Tell me what part that I got wrong that I was explaining. You look up ignorance in a dictionary and I'm pretty sure you're looking at yourself. I don't even read Carters. Carters are just dumb. Again, it's something so simple, right? If somebody directly asks me the question, well, wait, what did you mean here? What point did you make here? I'm going to go, okay, this is what I was saying, right? Even like the third time I had to explain it to Ryan because he didn't really understand. Remember, I broke it down again. If somebody asks me a direct question, especially if I'm in your position, right? If I'm begging for the attention of the guy that's doing the feed, and I finally get him to acknowledge me, and he asks me a direct question about what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, I'm going to do my best to answer it. I'm not just going to say something stupid that gives him more shit to talk. I mean, look at this. There's nothing being said. Then the close ones to you want to bring up the flood when actually the flood has happened. Yep. How many times did you guys hear me bring up the flood story today? You guys heard me bring that one up? Just the same scope. I mean, what the fuck does that even mean? You're reaching so hard that you're making shit up now. The flood has happened, just not the same scope as to what's described. Younger Drives is an example of mass flooding. That's what you came up with. In the perspective of our ancestors, it could have been interpreted as a global flood. Who the fuck is talking about the flood right now? Oh my God. So you believe in Noah and his little boat? Everyone in the world is killed yet again. So yet again, we become all of us are the offspring of a family fucking each other. Oh man. Come on, tell me something I'm getting wrong. Tell me something I'm getting wrong. I'm going to bring up something completely different. This reminds me of the challenge, right? I've been putting forth a challenge for like over a year now. If any of these profiles are anything other than bots, if they are really people, if there's really people behind these profiles, and I'm so wrong about everything I'm saying, record yourself making a 5-minute video titled Guy Williams Sucks. And you show your face talking about what I'm getting wrong. You know, how I suck, what's wrong with me, what I'm, you know, anything. Just proving that you're a real person and not a bot. The next day on the feed, you tell me about it, we'll look for it, and I'll show your video on my video. You talking shit about me, I'll show it. We'll watch it, we'll break it down. Nobody, not one of them, took up the challenge. Not one. Well over a year, thousands and thousands of profiles that I'm comfortable with calling bots, but you know, I'm wrong. Thousands and thousands of profiles, bots and or J's, and not one of these profiles has any sort of character or any sort of honesty, any sort of balls, confidence to come at me and show me that they're a real person and, you know, talk shit. And then a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, someone finally said, I did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. So I search Guy Williams Sucks and I see video pop up. So I go to the page that the video comes from, and there's actually 2 pages that are posting Guy Williams Sucks videos. Each one is posted the same 5 videos. The first 4 are like 40-second clips, none of which is a person talking. It's just a lot of it's just goofy Israel propaganda shit. And then the one video, the 5th video, is an actual 5-minute video of a bunch of clips from my previous live feeds where they have you know, put a post-it note, clipped a whole bunch of different videos that I've made where it's just little, you know, 5-10 second clips of me saying certain things that apparently bother them a lot. And in between the clips is a bunch of Israeli propaganda videos. So someone took the time, the effort, and the energy to, instead of just making a quick, easy, let me talk to the screen video, they make this compilation video of, you know, a lot of it is like, I don't even know where they got these clips. I'm not sure all of them are from even YouTube. I think some of them are old clips from Facebook and shit. But either way, the fact that they have all these videos queued up and ready to go where all these different, you know, timestamps are there for them to go right to, oh, this, we have this one saved and this one saved. And then that they would put a bunch of Israeli propaganda videos in between it. To then come to my feed and be like, look, we did the thing where we made the video, the guy would, like, I couldn't have asked for any better. I'd have been really surprised if it was a person. I absolutely wasn't expecting a compilation video that clearly took hours to make. The videos had writing on them, like they wrote over the videos in some cases. But it would have taken hours to make that video. And yet, they did. And it's the same kind of dumb shit as I get on here, where instead of actually doing the simple thing that would give you some credibility, it'll give you credibility. You can at least say that you're a real person, and that'll be undeniable. And we can see your face and see that, you know, it's not all nose, you know. We'll be able to see you and know that you're a real person, and you'll be able to make your little points and all that stuff, and then I'll have to answer for it. You'll be able to show that, you know, again, you have just the slightest bit of credibility, and none of them will take it up. And yet this video is supposed to make me like, how could I have even predicted that somebody would go that far? That somebody would be willing to you know, that somebody has that much of me filed away, that they know, oh, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Like, do you know how long that video would have taken to make? If you didn't already have all those timestamps written down somewhere, you would have then had to go watch those videos. If you just had the video saved, that'd be one thing. And then you'd have to watch all those videos to get to that one little 10-second spot. And they all look the same, so, you know, how would you even know? Yeah. I mean, this is the stupidest shit. Look at this dumb shit. What part one I mention now? Every time I comment this and every... What part are you... Oh, we got dumbass Sammy Sue here. This chick is a fucking moron. Let's see. What am I missing out on now? I don't see felony. Of course you do. But every excuse you want to make for your ignorant... to ignore your audience, man. Most of us are people, LOL. If you believe your audience is all bots and you're a whole... Oh, really? I'm a whole lot crazier. I'm so glad you brought that up. So, we're going to go... First and foremost, we're going to show you why Wikipedia is an acceptable source. Because I know a lot of you hide behind this notion that Wikipedia isn't an acceptable source for information. So... First, we have the IsraelNationalNews.com. Pretty official, I would assume. And the guy talking is Naftali Bennett, who at the time in 2010 was a future prime minister of Israel. Just at this time, he was just an Israeli agent. At this point now, he is a former Israeli prime minister. But here.
In conjunction with My Israel has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory. He's saying that that Israel went to the Wikipedia headquarters to teach them how to do their jobs properly. To teach them how to edit Wikipedia, because they didn't know how to edit their own software. They were already the #1 source of information, but they didn't know how to edit things. And just in case you were wondering what he meant that anytime somebody searches something that has to do with Israel, Gaza, whatever, that they want to be there and they want to influence what is written, how it's written, and to make sure that it has a Zionist perspective. That's pretty interesting, don't you think? So, with that being said, let's go to Team Jorge on Wikipedia, their source, right? Team Jorge is the name given to an outfit of Israeli contractors specialized in the use of malign cyber activities, including hacking, sabotage, and bot farm-run social media disinformation campaigns to manipulate the outcomes of elections. Not to interfere with YouTube pages, no. They can only interfere with the presidential elections. A YouTube page is going to be way out of their spectrum. The group was exposed in February of 2023 after an award-winning undercover operation by journalists from Israel and France as part of a larger consortium of investigative journalists coordinated by Forbidden Stories. Journalists from the United States, journalists from the UK, from all over the place. It wasn't just Israel and France. They were just the main two. The operation has been active since at least 2015, just before Trump lost the election by 2,700,000. Yeah, I know. It's in there. The Wonder Years is in there. How about the Wonder Years? Yes. How cool is that? That's it? Yeah. Oh, come on, lady. Not in the special box? All right, have a great day. That's the Amazon box. I know. But I'm saying you're special, the special mail, where my check always ends up for some reason. No, I'll pull it that today. Trump lost the election by 2,700,000 votes. And then the APAC swamp that he said he was going to drain put him in anyway. Remember? That was in 2016. This is 2015. Been active since at least 2015 and has boasts of having manipulated 33, that lucky number 33, presidential elections worldwide, many of them in Africa, meaning at least 4, and in 27 cases with successful results. So 27 out of 33 times they successfully manipulated a presidential level election. That's pretty insane, right? Their activities were revealed following a 2022 sting operation in Tel Aviv carried out by 3 undercover journalists who posed as prospective clients and filmed their interactions with Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N, the group's leader and former Israeli Special Forces operative, in which he explained the inner workings of the organization. He said that they had existed for more than 2 decades and had been engaged in propaganda and disinformation activities in more than 30 countries. Their services have been available to government intelligence agencies, political campaigns, and private companies that wish to covertly manipulate public opinion. Look at how I'm just making all this up. Look at how I just make all this up. That wouldn't explain what's going on my feed, would it? Well, wait, let me do a little bit more reading. One of the organization's primary tools is a software package called AIMS, Advanced Impact Media Solutions. The software automates centralized control of thousands of fake social media profiles on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. That's really interesting. So this one Israeli Black Ops organization was exposed as having this special, unique software that nobody had ever seen before, that they said is more like avatars than bots, that they're able to create as many as 30,000, back in 2022, they were able to create as many as 30,000 bot profiles to focus on any one individual or situation. That doesn't explain what's going on here at all, right? That's the automated side of what's going on here. But then there's also this part. This is act.il, and this page is actually completely locked. So there is no editing these pages. And the other page, Team Jorge page, isn't locked. So if anybody could edit it, they would have by now. And it would say stupid shit like Guy Williams is crazy and blah, blah, blah. They would have done that by now. They haven't. Act.il was a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online, quote, anti-Israel content, such as the BDS movement, boycott, divestments, and sanctions. Its activities were referred to as an online propaganda campaign and a virtual situation room for pro-Israel experts. Act.il, pay attention, directed its users to, quote, missions to like, comment on, and share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Users were guided on how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points, or share or upvote an allied comment. So when you notice that these guys are saying the same crazy shit, like, no one cares, and you're schizophrenic, and you're delusional, like the same wording is used every single time. These are the provided talking points that they're given. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. And believe me, if they could share all sorts of memes on here, they would. By completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. They got prizes and shit. They basically made attacking someone like me using a fake profile into a video game that is then kept score of, and they the more they can interfere, the more they can detract, the more they can get their name said, the more they can get any of those things, the more points they get. And the more points they get, the better the prizes they get. So when I talk about the comment section that doesn't seem to be able to answer anything that's presented to them, that keeps trying to do all kinds of the same stupid shit, but stupid shit, desperately trying to distract, desperately trying to get us to stop talking about killing pedos, stop talking about eliminating the J control scheme, stop talking about stopping the genocide. The Trump supporters, who do you think that is? Do you think there are really real people out there that hear me say we need to kill pedophiles and go, oh, that's going to be the guy I fuck with? Is that really how people think? Is that what you would do? You know, this guy thinks we should stop genocide. Let's get him. Who's going to say that shit? Who's going to do that shit? Team Jorge and their 30,000 bots are going to do that shit. And when it goes beyond the bots, as far as the stupidity level goes, like Ryan, well, it's act.il or something similar, where it is a real person behind the scenes. It is a real inbred fucking, cult member who isn't very smart and can't actually debunk anything that's being said, but is trying their best to distract, trying their best to fuck the feed up. This is what they do. I mean, so many of them, literally, they don't work. Their lives, their houses, their food, their everything is free. We pay for it. The United States pays for it. And we're just one of many countries that give Israel money every year. But every year we give them a lump sum cash payment in the first fiscal month of every year of $3.8 billion. $3.8 billion cash is given to them with no restrictions, no one watching over it, nothing. Along with a whole bunch of other money throughout the year, a bunch of supply. And anytime you hear stories about, they bought weapons from us, well, they just wanted weapons, and then a grant that happens to be set aside for them paid for those weapons. Or they'll take from hurricane relief funds to pay for those weapons. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's all it's so obvious and crazy that people believe this shit, and it's right in front of us like this. And I get that maybe you are ignorant to it. Maybe you haven't heard all these details. But when you have someone like me who's literally reading you the details from their perspective, how do you not just be like, holy fuck, this is the game plan. It's time to change the game plan. How do you troll that guy? How do you try your best to interfere and stop that guy? None of y'all can even elaborate anything. You just talk out your asses. That's what happens being a man. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what's going on here. Instead of fucking pointing out any one thing that's wrong, we're just going to go with more blanket bullshit. Look, I don't know how many feeds you've ever seen that have 17 viewers and 15 likes. But if that doesn't wake you up to something going on here, I don't know what else I can keep providing you as far as proof, as far as, action, like evidence. I'm showing you guys the evidence. I'm reading you what they want us to read. But even more importantly, look at my feed. If I was wrong about shit, people would say so. People wouldn't come here for hours on end and just say dumb shit, begging for attention, making themselves look stupid for nothing. Like, there's a reason for that. There's a, they're not doing that just for the fucking fun of it. Who wants to get called a pedophile for the fun of it? Who's going to allow themselves to be called a pedophile and not fight back? You see lots of it here. You see lots of it. If you've ever seen a feed like mine before, please let me know. And I don't know what you think censorship looks like. Do you think censorship looks like thousands and thousands of viewers at a time? Or do you think censorship looks like shit that doesn't make much sense? Numbers that don't quite jive? Hmm? Censorship. It's what they do. Like, when they don't want to, we all know that. See, again, this is one of those things where you're going to be arrogant and pick and choose, right? You know that they censor shit. You know that there's no way they would allow, like, you guys know if I started dropping J-bombs K-bombs over and over again, my feed would get shut down in a minute. We all know there's one group that we're not allowed to talk about. We all just know it. Why do you think that is? You think that's not because there's some conspiracy? It's not like anybody's like, well, they just deserve it. They're just so good. They just help out. They just make the world such a better place that we shouldn't talk bad about them. That's not how it works. They're the worst. We all know they're the worst. We all know who controls everything. We all know all of that shit. They've literally tricked you into thinking that saying they control all the money, the power, you know, the control, that is somehow a slur. You know, that's like saying black people are lazy or whatever. Like, well, you have all the money and the power, so, Don't you say that. Don't you say that. That's not fair. It's fucking stupid. They've tricked you. It's all just one huge trick. And you know it is because you don't see, like, you see people talking about all kinds of shit. You'll never see someone like me especially, get put in front of a panel of their smartest people, all the smartest fucking people possible, and let me just say these things and destroy me, destroy all my arguments, show how stupid I am, and then from here on out, anytime somebody wants to start saying the same things I've said, you just say, oh no, show them that video. There was a guy that made all these points, and then he did it to a bunch of smart people, and they crushed him. Like, you would think that would be something that you'd want to exist if you were on the other side. But they know they can't do that. They know there is no justifying genocide. There is no justifying pedophilia. There is no justifying this fucking slavery. And so they're just, you know, I think they're freaking out. I think they're really scared right now. The Goyim are restless, and we're stepping up, and we're fighting back on all levels. We're not just shutting up when we're supposed to shut up. And it's a beautiful thing. I hope it keeps going. Go get your free download. www.the-bilderberg, bilderberg-group.com. It's free to listen to, free to download, and it's the best shit you haven't heard yet. It's going to ask you how much you want to pay for it. You can donate like so many of you have, and we really appreciate. Or you can just click nothing, and it's free. All we ask is that you share it with somebody.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, what'd you do now? Did you poop again?
Come on. Come on. Damn it.
What?
Come on.
Go, dude.
Come on. Come on, you can do it. Up. Come on. Okay. Let's take a running start.
Not sorry to burst your bubble, but the black vote doesn't matter. And truthishly, I'm hopeful that if we finally shatter the illusion and the banter, then the promised change will come. But until then, the chosen cancer takes advantage of the dumb. Goyim just for fun, since we barely even fight. Their
So,
propaganda
go
keeps us
watch,
numb.
I'm going to leave you with the link to the music. Go get it for free. I'm going to leave you with the link to the movie Hollywoodism, which is the most important video ever made, the most important film ever made. It explains everything I've said today, but from their perspective. They acknowledge it, and they basically tell you, yeah, we do all that shit. One lady says at one point, you could essentially say the American dream is the Jewish dream. They don't hide it. So go watch that. Go check out the, I'm going to leave you with 3 links to our Facebook page, three of the music videos. Donald Trump Hates America, COVID Sauce, and Sleight of Hand Job. Go check those out. Go watch them. Go share them. Go like them. Don't forget to like, share, and sub this feed. Don't forget to get your free download. It's yummy, yummy. Have a great day. And most importantly, what's the most important thing, Chubby Girl? We can't hear you, but she said, pedophiles, fucking kill yourself.